Hello and welcome to the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe. I forgot to put the number in.
That was weird.
Hello and welcome to episode 78 of the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe, and as always, I'm joined by drummer Matt. Say hello.
Hi.
It was worth it, just that. And I'm also joined by Wibbelit. Say hello.
Hello. I'm not sure what kind of upset me more, the fact you did it in the wrong order, or that when you said Matt's name, you said bejoined.
Yeah, that's how you know it's like a mirror universe episode, because, joined is pronounced bejoined.
This is where we're starting.
Yeah.
This is how we're meaning to go on.
Yes!
Okay, good.
So, some general stuff. You'll remember how Warhammer Fest was last weekend?
It was, yes?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that way later on, so stay tuned. So you have to listen to our bullshit first, haha. But yeah, apart from that, how are you lovely gentlemen today? Apart from, bejoining us.
Let's move on from that. I'm okay. How are you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not sure you're good though, Snipe.
I'm fine. Never been better.
Something's going wrong. We're not quite sure what yet.
Oh, but honestly, that's just like me for a while.
It's been one of those days. I told you before we recorded, but when you first did start the Skype call, I had a minor panic because I'd forgotten whether I needed to press the big green button or the big red button to answer the Skype call.
This is going to be a good episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
I blame it on basically me going tropo, because it's kind of been suddenly 18 degrees over here for no reason, and just out of nowhere, it's really bizarre.
I'm fine with it being warm. It's just when it's warm out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was like fucking frosted like 3-4 days ago and pissing it down with rain, and now it's just like fucking nearly 20 degrees. Sod off the weather. I'm heckin' done with you. So, Wibbelit, just a little bit.
You're never going to get bored of that, are you?
No.
No.
What have you been up to, dear?
I have been up to a couple of things. So,
are you going to tell us?
No, I'm not going to.
Alright.
So I've been playing a bit of Destiny 2 again.
Okay.
Playing through it's not its most recent expansion, I don't think. Because I think there's been a few since, even if they've been little ones. But it's the one where all the trailers show Cade being shot.
Oh, is that the one where they couldn't afford Nathan Fillion anymore?
Apparently not, but whoever does his voice is very good at doing a Nathan Fillion voice.
Oh, cool.
So, but yeah, I've been playing through that.
I think you just have to talk with your eyebrows.
Care to explain what you meant by that?
No.
Okay. So yeah, I've been playing through that. I'm currently going through... I'm still relatively early on. I've just been kind of picking at it here and there. And I'm going through a section which is kind of a cool conceit where you have to take down these various mini-bosses. And they're progressively harder, so you go through and do like a little quest to track them down, deal with their minions and fight them. I can't remember what was the last one I did. It's like the Executioner or something like that. But he was the last one I killed, and yeah, there's been a lot of rebalancing and a lot of changing around of things since I last played it. So like, you don't have to have your bank just literally full of all the weapons that you want to keep hold of, because now they're just in like a global thing that you can just regenerate if you need to. So
good quality of life upgrade.
Yeah. 'Cause it saves the old WoW problem, which they also solve by a similar kind of means of making it so once you've had something, then you can just make it again if you need to, as opposed to having to have your bank full of bullshit. So that's good.
I still have a bank full of bullshit.
Well, yeah.
And I have 2 slots of voice storage full of bullshit.
It's difficult to get over the hoarding ways in those kind of games.
Well, I tanked that boss with my eyes shut, because at the time I was deathly terrified of spiders, so I think I earned that fucking knife.
Oh yeah, there's certain things you keep for sentimental value rather than for their actual value. But yeah, Destiny 2, still enjoying it.
Okay, I'm intrigued to hit. I was enjoying it until at some point, fairly arbitrarily, I hit a brick wall of not being able to get any better items, and then I kind of just was like, oh, well, I'm done with this now, and just stopped playing like cold turkey.
Yeah, I think that's just a looty shooty thing, or just
yeah,
looty anything.
Well, it's because fundamentally it's built around the same kind of thing as an MMO. So you get to a certain point, and then you've got to be doing multiplayer stuff to be able to get yourself above that. Like once you get to the end of the, I'm just going to call them dungeons because I never remember the real name for them.
Let's call them instances. It's more of a blanket term.
But you go and do those with like a couple of people, and once you've done those and then maybe done the slightly harder ones, then you've got like a very defined kind of level, how high your gear is, unless you want to go and do raids and stuff, which you need to obviously get a bunch of people together for. And I can't be bothered with that. But it's a pity because I just generally quite enjoy just going around shooting shit. So
yeah, I really enjoyed playing it when I was.
Yeah. But yeah, apart from Destiny 2, I also finally caught up with the latest season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Was that the season that you didn't know was out?
Yeah, because basically I've been watching Netflix like a hawk, but at some point in some brief time when I stopped paying super close attention, they released the season that I was waiting for.
You blinked and then they were like, hee hee.
And so, and they hadn't... It never said the thing on it that said new episodes, so I didn't realise it had updated. And then I actually just felt like watching some of the old series because I was like, oh...
What are we talking about? Sorry, I think I missed you saying.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Ah, yes, sorry.
Did you think that was just a statement he was making?
Yeah.
Because you never know with Wiblet.
No, apparently I just phased out for a second. Please continue.
It's one of those episodes. So I just completely missed that it had updated, and I went back to look at it because I just fancied watching some of the old episodes to see how they sort of compare, because it's been ages since I watched the early ones. And then I noticed that, oh, by the way, Season 13 was added. I was like, yes, good. So I watched through that, and I will say it is really interesting to watch a show grow, because, like, Always Sunny does get by on a lot of kind of edgy humour. But unlike most shows that do edgy humour, it actually knows where the lines actually are. It knows where it shouldn't make jokes, because it's just kind of a bit tasteless. And it's also like got better about a lot of things over time, which is just really interesting to watch how it's kind of changed from, I mean, however long ago it was that it started, because it's been going for a while now. I mean, 13 seasons, so that's a lot. And especially, so the season's been out for a long time, so I feel I can kind of give away this little bit. But in the series, right at the end, so there is an episode in which the character of Mac, who is unreasonably buff this season, for a joke.
Because the actor that plays him just likes to either gain a lot of weight or
muscle mass,
incredibly muscular as a joke. Because Jesus, I wish my body was that fucking malleable. And by that I mean that kind of thing is not achievable by normal human means. You need to be a fucking millionaire in order to be able to afford a live-in fucking trainer. And like a fucking army of fucking gourmet chefs that can make kale taste amazing.
I mean, he said pretty much that on Instagram, didn't he?
He did. He was taking the piss, and I was like, dude, I love you. Because he was like, I don't know why everyone doesn't... It's like, God, you're just lazy if you don't look like this. You know, all it takes is like hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, waking up at 5 a.m. every day, never eating anything you like doing, dedicating 6 hours every day to working out. I mean, fucking seriously, anyone who doesn't do this is just a lazy slob. And I'm like, thank you for finally fucking saying it. Jesus.
But yeah, so the character that he plays came out as gay a couple of seasons ago. But basically all the characters knew this because they're all bad people. None of them react in a pleasant way.
Well, they're not supposed to be good people.
Yeah, well, they just react like, yeah, we know. And then just move on, because that's Always Sunny. Everyone's a narcissist. But the last episode is about him trying to find his place in the gay community. And he realises what he actually has to do is come out to his father, who's in prison. And so, due to a series of things, it basically ends up with the last 8 minutes of like a 24-minute long show, because it's like half-hour American TV blocks. Yeah. Like the last 8 minutes of it are an interpretive dance number, done 100% sincerely, shot cinematically, doesn't end on a joke.
Okay.
I'd seen clips from this used in various like video essays and things.
Because Danny DeVito's in it.
Because you see Danny DeVito just with tears in his eyes watching this beautiful dance. And I'd, for ages, just thought it was an indie movie he'd done recently. Because it's shot like a movie. Like, the type of cinematography used. And then I think the last time I saw the clip, I was like, wait a minute, no, that's Mac who's dancing. What? Is this from Always Sunny? I need to see that latest season. What the fuck happens? And now I've seen it. It's like, wow, that's a thing. It's actually kind of quite heartwarming how it plays out. It's really quite nice. Because, like, right at the end, because, like, part of the thing is Danny DeVito's character, who's Frank, he's like, look, I don't understand the gay thing at all. I just don't get it. But, basically, the only reason he's trying to help him is because they need him to dance on their pride float so that they can get the LGBT audience into their bar, because they're bad people.
They're bad people.
And that's all they care. That's all they care about. And they need him because he's their one genuine gay.
That sounds pretty corporate, yeah.
Yeah. But it ends up being actually kind of sincere, and at the end he's just got tears in his eyes, just going, I get it.
See, you told me that when we were like walking to the shops the other day, and I nearly fucking cried. I'm like, oh my god, that's so lovely.
And Danny DeVito's a good enough actor to pull that off and it come across as like really sincere. Like I say, it was just nice, and it was just, I wasn't expecting it. Which is, Always Sunny's a weird show. It's also, because I've known a few people who've tried to watch it and they watch like the first few episodes and like, this isn't very good. I'd say second season is where Danny DeVito comes into it, and that's where it gets a lot better.
I love Danny DeVito.
Also, because it does kind of use edgy humour a lot. The nastiness of that edgy humour is a lot more nasty in the earlier ones because, it was a while ago.
Yeah, I was about to ask how if it is using that edgy sort of stuff, how the old stuff holds up.
Some of it doesn't very well, but even the writers have like directly addressed this, like saying, we don't use that language anymore because we realise how hateful it is.
Yeah, oh good.
Even at certain points, there is a slur used in a very early episode, and it in a clip show that they did in the last season, which is sort of a weird meta clip show episode. They show a clip from that episode, and when the slur is dropped, it's just beeped out.
Yeah, okay.
You know what that is? Growth.
Yes. So that was I
have one more question about it.
Yes.
The character Frank.
Yes.
All I know about him, apart from him being Danny DeVito,
is he has a magnum door.
He's either in jail behind bars or trapped in a climbing frame behind bars.
He is trapped.
Is he just always trapped in places?
I mean, not always, but it's not exactly a single time thing either. There's one time that he is trapped naked inside a sofa, and
Drama Matt's like, my hero.
He breaks his way out, being birthed by the sofa.
I've seen an internet video.
This man is my hero.
Yeah. It's.
You see,
basically, Always Sunny is a show to watch if you have ever wanted to see Danny DeVito either in his pants or with his arse out.
Okay. You know what I do want to see Danny DeVito as? I want to see him, because he's 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
I want to see him with hair, and I want to see him with 6 foot long legs. I want to see Bayonetta Danny DeVito.
You're in luck. That is in season 13.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Guess I gotta watch it.
That's not because I told you about that scene or anything.
I just love the idea of him having fucking Bayonetta legs and sitting there like, this is how I always look.
Yeah.
He's imagining him. He's like remembering something. And like isn't it like everyone's like, why do you have like 6 foot long legs and hair? And he's like, that's just how tall people look. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, basically.
And I'm like, I have never related to something so hard.
But yeah, so I like Always Sunny, but it does rely on sort of edgy humour. So especially the early seasons, if you do want to go watch it, just be aware of that.
Okay.
But it gets better, and especially as it went on, it tended to... The edgy humour was used to make a punchline of bad people, rather than, the people who would normally be affected by that sort of thing. So, yeah. I actually saw a video essay, I think it was by Jack Sane, who was pointing out that Always Sunny is a show that is in a lot of ways sort of similar to Friends, except it's probably going to age better. Because...
Well, I mean, the thing with Always Sunny is that from the off, it's like, hey, look at these terrible fucking people. Whereas Friends is just like, oh, these aren't literally the fucking scum of society.
I don't know if I go that far, but yeah, some of them are pretty bad.
Okay, Ross is literally the devil.
I mean,
he is such a prick.
He is a bit of a dick.
Yeah, he's not a good person.
Remember that episode where he literally is like screaming and crying and running around like shouting at people because his son played with a doll once?
Yeah.
Remember that episode where they were looking for a nanny for like his kid, and a guy nanny showed up, and he spent the whole time going, "You have to be gay. No man could ever want to be a nanny."
Yeah.
You remember that episode?
Yeah,
you just keep fucking going on.
But this is the point that was being made in the video essay, was that aside from the fact that in especially early Friends, there's a lot of like jokes that wouldn't play well today, shall we say?
I remember Chandler's quote unquote dad.
Yeah,
that was gross.
But there's a lot of... When it addresses issues, it never has anything to say about them. They're just there as a punchline. Whereas Always Sunny, despite relishing in edgy stuff, it always has something to say about these things. So it's probably going to age better because it had something to say. It wasn't just dropping something that was kind of a casual bigotry and then just kind of having that as a joke. It would drop those, but then it would, at least it was framed in a way of that the people that did that were bad people. So at least there was, even in its most casual way, it still sort of has more to say about it. So it's probably going to age over time better than Friends does. Because I've heard Friends can be quite rough to watch in places these days.
Yeah.
Because some of it's a bit...
I mean, like, it is way older than Always Sunny as well. So
yeah, that's the point.
That is a big kind of factor as well.
I think that was with that in mind, of that once Always Sunny reaches the same age, because it started a few years afterwards. Because some people do consider that sort of a bit of a... In a way, it's the closest thing to
Dark
Friends.
Friends.
Yeah, it's... it's friends, but you're not supposed to like any of them.
It's like fucking. I
At
just
least
love the idea of Dark Friends. It's just like they're basically in the Underdark, being super evil.
It's bizarro world friends.
Like Joey's like his hunger is insatiable for babies. And like Monica works at the flaying factory or something. I don't know. I can't remember which one Monica is. I think she was the chef actually. She cooks babies. And then Ross is exactly the same. It's like this fucking evil cave with boiling blood, and there's just the screams of the damned, and he walks in and goes, "You would not believe the day I had today." And he's just like, he dressed exactly the same. It's exactly the same, and I'm like, yeah, no, that is what I want. I want like evil friends or whatever. What? It's good. Amazing. Some TV executive with billions of dollars to just give me to exist. Please hire me and throw money
and also
at
give
me.
us David Schwimmer's number.
Yeah, because like I'm sure he's a great guy, but like Ross as a character is abysmal.
But moving on from that, I have one last little thing to talk about. Which is that I went to go and see a band with my dad.
Oh, yes. Yes, that came out of the blue.
Yeah, it kind of did. Because he kind of sent me a text message and was like, "Hey, I just looked it up and we can go and see the band Wheatus for £2.50 in Birmingham. Do you want to go see it?"
And then you were like, "Yeah."
Why was it only £2.50?
I don't know. But yeah, so I went to go see Wheatus. The band famous for singing the song Teenage Dirtbag,
many years ago.
Which was released to tie in with the film Loser that literally no one except me has seen.
Yeah, I've literally never met anyone but you who's seen it.
Yeah, no one's
You're the
seen
only
it.
person I've met who has.
it's a teenage movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't remember anything particularly good or particularly bad about it, but it was a long time ago that I saw it.
Yeah.
Also, the music video that's made with the actors from the movie has nothing to do with, does not contain any clips from the movie.
So it's like an old
They're in the same
movie tie-in video game where the story is literally
they're
so different.
They're dressed up as the characters, but it doesn't follow the plot or anything.
Okay.
So it's weird. But yeah, so went and saw those, and yeah, they were pretty good actually. Some slightly surreal moments, because I've not listened to any Wheaters since listening to their first album, which
was their first album.
I think that's universally true.
Yeah, which had Teenage Dirtbag and A Little Respect on it and things like that.
I actually really like that cover. It's really sweet.
Yeah, Little Respect cover's good.
It's good.
They did play that, which is quite good.
Nice.
I know you recorded a little bit of it for me.
Yeah, because I actually really like that song.
Thank you.
And I was shocked because they still play loads of songs off that first album, and how many of them I remembered quite clearly. I was like, oh shit, yeah, I remember this one. Although the really weird one is, so on their first album, they have a song called Punk Ass Bitch. Now, what makes that song surreal is that song was used with changed lyrics for the Jackie Chan Adventures cartoon, but with the words punk ass bitch replaced with Jackie Chan.
That is amazing.
That has always weirded me out. But when some people, because people were shouting out songs to play because they at least pretended they didn't have a set list. So when everyone shouted out every one of their songs, they could go, yes, we're going to play that one.
You're spoiling the magic.
Who knows? Maybe they did it legit. I don't know. But I know what.
Everyone knows that the coolest bands put their songs in pieces of paper and then in a hat and just offer it to the audience. Like, the best bands do that.
I don't know what band could have ever done that.
Not our band.
But when people were shouting for punk ass bitch, or they were insulting the lead singer, I'm not sure. And he said, okay, look, the bassist who wrote that song hasn't been in the band for 20 years.
Yikes.
But we will play the Jackie Chan version. So they played the Jackie Chan theme tune. Which was just a bit surreal. But yeah, so I saw that, and they also, because they of course played Teenage Dirtbag, which they played at the very end. That was their last song. Which makes sense, and it seemingly they're a bit better about it than they used to be.
Because I remember they used to be quite cranky about it, which understandably.
I heard that they used, when they played live, they used to only play like half the song because they were sick of playing it.
I get it.
Whereas now they kind of really relish in playing it, which is nice to see.
I'm glad that they're a bit more comfortable with it. Yeah.
Also, the lead singer has dicko levels of fucking about between songs.
Oh, Jesus. So are other band members, like, scuffing him upside the back of the head, just being like, fucking get on with it! And which is why Dicko only starts one song.
Dick, the bassist was scowling at him a lot.
I feel that bassist on a fucking spiritual level.
But I also feel that might just be the bassist's general demeanour anyway.
Okay, that is the bassist glower is just something that you have.
But the thing I want to mention, because obviously, I enjoyed the show. If you do get a chance to go see them, they're pretty good.
They were worth the £2.50.
They're worth the £2.50.
And the 50-minute car ride.
Yeah, that was a bit weird. But the lead singer also has a custom guitar where it's a electroacoustic that has F holes rather than a big.
So he fancy and classical.
No, but rather than the big sound hole.
The big O-hole.
Big sound hole is what I'm going to call it. I don't actually know what they're called, I realise now.
O-holes. Drama Matt, it's an O-hole. Tell him.
Yeah, I think...
I am literally making it up, but I just like the sound. I was just like, I want to trick Wib into thinking something.
When you look at like a violin or a lot of hollow body guitars, the things that look like Fs in them are literally called F-holes.
Which is, honestly, speaking as someone who's been a musician for a while, that never stops being funny.
It's hilarious.
Oh, no.
He has a custom one that the F-holes are the Wheaters W.
Okay, that's really cool.
Which is just kind of neat.
Oh, no,
anyway,
I dropped my pick in my F-hole.
I know. But
at least they're not S-holes.
Well, I mean, I guess that he has like W holes.
We should start a band that begins with A, so then we can get a custom guitar made with A holes.
I know. I think it should be B holes because A is already a band.
Yeah, no, we don't have to call the band A. It just has to begin with A.
Okay.
The band name could be A, but not that A.
In brackets, not that A.
Do you know why the band A is called A?
Because it would make it apparently impossible to pirate, which, trust me.
No, that wasn't the reason. It was so they would appear first in, like, alphabetized shells.
Then they should have had, like, 3 A's.
Yeah.
They should have just been called A.
It worked, but then there's bands like 36 Crazy Fists that ruin that because numbers always go before them.
Yeah, you go 1 1 1 1 A. And then you can have 1 1 1 1 A-holes.
Anyway, the last thing I meant to mention was, when they got to play Teenage Dirtbag, there was that thing that a lot of my favourite, like, memories of gigs comes from when you go see a band and...
You get punched in the back of the head because you're at a ska gig. And that's the thing that actually happens at ska gigs.
It doesn't happen at ska gigs.
I know,
ska gigs are really nice.
They're really nice. Like,
generally speaking.
If you fall over, everyone will stop and pick you up and be friends with you.
It doesn't matter how vicious the mosh pit is. They'll stop and help you up.
Yeah.
At least in all ska gigs I've been to. But yeah, some of my favourite memories from gigs is where a song is played and literally every...
Sorry.
I'll start that sentence again.
Just my favourite part of gigs is when a song
That's
is
not where
played.
the sentence ends! Jesus Christ! My favourite memories is when a song is played and everyone in the crowd sings along to every single word of a particular song. Because there's just something really nice about that, of people being so into it that, you know, you can hear every line sing, you can hear the crowd behind it.
You can hear how collectively people cannot fucking stay in tune.
I'll get to that.
That is a good. You should get, if you've ever seen Coheed and Cambria live, like all of the audience all sings all the like background harmonies. It's
nice.
Just like properly eerie.
I've never actually seen Coheed. That's
I've seen them.
I've always meant to.
Embarrassingly large number of times.
10.
But yeah, because so normally, like, I think the most I've seen it with is like when I go see Streetlight Manifesto, not because they're the biggest band in the world, but their fans tend to be a little bit obsessive.
Very dedicated.
Yes.
Which I say as very obsessive Streetlight.
Yeah, I
mean, so you go to one of their gigs and the entire crowd is singing along to nearly every word of nearly every song, and that's just, I don't know, there's just a really nice atmosphere. It's created by that.
Yeah.
And yeah, when it got to Teenage Dirtbag, literally everyone there was singing along to it. It was just really kind of nice, and then it gets to the little quiet bit where it's the recontextualized chorus part where the object of the protagonist's affection comes to him and brings him tickets to Iron Maiden.
You know why that's in there? Because we just fucking love Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
I remember reading an interview with them in Kerrang. That fucking shows how old I am.
Yeah.
And they were like... the interviewer just kept asking them questions like, oh, would you rather, like, save your mum from crocodiles or go and meet Iron Maiden? And they were like, oh, actually, that's a difficult one. I was like, shit, okay, these guys really like Iron Maiden. Jesus, okay.
But the part that made it kind of funny is so that it gets to that part and the singer just kind of goes, okay, do you want to sing this bit? And so the whole crowd just sings that bit.
Everyone's trying to sing falsetto.
They do it fine up until that little bit right at the end, the little ooh 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 part on the end of it. Because that's in falsetto and crowds can't do falsetto.
No, but it is fun to hear them try.
It's because it was really kind of, it was like that nice kind of like gang vocal kind of thing going on. This huge crowd singing it. Even people that are out of tune, it doesn't matter because there's enough people in tune that it kind of covers it all up. No, it sounds kind of fun, and it just gets this little bit at the end that no one can do, so it just sounds awful, which is really fun. And then they go and play the rest of it. But yeah, that was really kind of nice, and it was. I always like it when you see a band that's got like a notorious like one-hit wonder sort of thing, and they relish it. Electric Six do the same thing with Gay Bar.
Electric Six take the piss with Gay Bar. Like they really went for it. Like, because I've seen Electric Six 3 times, I think. I saw them at Download.
I've only seen them with you once, so I don't know.
Okay. So yeah, I think I've maybe seen them twice, but like, first time was at Download where I passed out because the entire crowd was like, I fucking hate this band, and then threw eggs at them. And then the moment they came on, they were all being sycophantic dicks and crushed me because I was like in the second row from the front.
Yeah.
I woke up and this guy was kind of like holding my head up going, are you okay? And I'm like, do I fucking look okay? Like, props to that guy. He was a badass. But yeah, and then there was another one I went to in Nottingham, which was Rescue Rooms.
Yeah, that's
really
one I came
small
with,
one,
yeah.
and he came out with like a baguette and just started kicking his legs up really hard and just like screaming along the gay bar with a Tesco fucking baguette. And he was just fucking thrashing. It just kept like disintegrating throughout the song as he was just abusing this French stick. And I was like, this is the best fucking gig I've ever been to.
Got free breadcrumbs. It was great.
Yeah, it's like, we are your pigeons, Father. Cover us in the crumbs of your mercy. It was awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, if you get a chance to go see Wheatus, they're pretty good. Go on, go see them if you can.
You got a pick as well, didn't you?
Yeah, they were selling pigs. So yeah, but yeah, that's me done. So Snipe, what have you been up to?
Okay, so I did do my first solo session with Ash for D&D.
Yes.
That was awesome. Ash
and you can't say a damn thing about it.
I can
spoiler.
say a couple of things. So like,
I know it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rocked
That's
up
all I
into
know.
town. I like went on a little kind of thing, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
But that's really good. And then Ash literally caught the fucking plague.
Yeah, he's got like foot and mouth or something.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah, like apparently he's
like
a cow
seriously,
now.
like because I remember like during our session, he was getting like more haggard, and I'm like, because he went from fine to like really unwell in the space of like 3 hours. And I'm like, dude, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm just feeling really dizzy. And then the next day, it's like, oh yeah, I'm literally bedridden, and I keep passing out. And I'm like, shit, okay. And then like a week goes on, and he's like, I'm a little bit better, but now I have mouth ulcers. And I'm like, dude, you have the fucking plague. I think my role-playing was so bad, it nearly killed the new DM. I'm worried.
Honestly, from the way he's been talking about it, I'm pretty sure that the next time we see him, there's going to be like a fucking medieval plague doctor.
He's going to be covered in leeches. But yeah, so that went well. I'm looking forward to... I think I need one more session, and then we're all good to go as a group. Which I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. He's already joked with me that he likes my character so much that even if in the event of a TPK, she'll be teleported away to the nearest like fountain and be safe. So yeah, get a load of that, you heckers. No, I'll probably be the one who dies first because that just seems like me.
Well, you are the tank, so
I'm the tank and the healer.
yeah,
That's probably fine.
it's probably okay.
I can't see a problem there. Apart from that, I watched Tuca and Bertie.
Oh yeah, I watched that as well actually.
Yeah, I know, because I made you, because it was really good.
What is this thing?
Tuca and Bertie is like, it's from the same people who made BoJack Horseman.
Ah, yeah. Ruth watched that and told me, and I haven't had a chance yet.
It is really good.
Oh, good.
It covers some fucking dark stuff. Like there's like, I think episode 9 is, that's a fucking harsh one. But it also does it where it's like they're in a place called the Jelly Lake that is just a lake full of jelly.
Makes
And
sense.
it's like, how are you making such a heartfelt, realistic kind of story at the fucking Jelly Lake? Really? Oh my god. Okay.
Are there animals, people in it, or is it?
I think there's a couple of humaned people.
I can't remember if there's a single human in it.
I think there's like one or two. There's one. Because it's the...
Oh yes,
It's
yes. There's a bird watcher.
There's a bird watcher.
I mean,
that-
are they all animals? Like,
Yeah,
like
they're
in
like-
BoJack?
Apart from the ones that are plants,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
that are just human bodies with plant heads.
Okay. Yeah. Why
Yeah.
not? That's fine.
And they're all like mean teenagers.
Not all of them. There's the one who lives across the road from them,
Oh, she's cool.
who is occasionally topless as well.
Yeah, whatever.
So you get to see a plant's tits, so
Yeah.
that's a thing.
I see
that you get
toucan
to say.
titties, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. But it's good. I said the first episode is a little bit shaky because it's trying to kind of be a little bit more zany than it usually is.
Right.
Whereas I say but it's still quite fun and watchable. And then like as it go, I think like second one is more exemplary of the kind of tone it fits. It's pretty good. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it has some really fucking weird, surreal moments.
Yeah, it's a lot more weird than BoJack. Like, the world it exists in is just... It's like Looney Tunes logic a lot of the time.
There's a point where Tuca, like, wants to ask out, like, the deli cashier. And, so Bertie is trying to, like, give her the courage to do so. And she goes up and talks to him, and, like... They brush hands, and she literally explodes, and all of her bones fall into a pile. And the deli cashier's like, "Oh wow, all of her bones came out," and like Birdie's picking her up in her arms, all the bones, going, "Oh yeah, she does that. She wants your number though," and he's like, "Oh yeah, cool." It's just carrying your friend, your friend who is now a pile of bones out of the deli.
And a pile
does
of skin and organs, presumably.
No, it's literally just a pile of
pile of
bones.
bones.
Just bones. She just turns into a pile of bones.
It strikes the interesting balance of being, like, weird, but also knowing when to be serious.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel... Those two parts don't feel incongruous.
But yeah, no, so I've been enjoying that. Like, I remember talking about it on stream, and I think a couple of people were like, "Oh god, I hate that," and it's like, that's fine. It's not for everybody. But I think it's really cool. And like, Sungwon Cho is in it, which is why I first watched it.
Yeah.
Because Sungwon is a really cool voice actor. ProZD as well. That's
his
like,
internet handle.
His internet handle. But yeah, he's really cool, and he can do some really good voices. So he was like, "Hey, I'm in like a couple of episodes of Tuca and Birdie," and I'm like, "Dude, I'm there. That's all I needed. Let's go." But yeah, so I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
As for I completed Divinity Original Sin 2 again.
How long did it take you the first time, and then how long has it taken you the second time?
It took me about 30, 40 hours the first time.
But that was over about a year or something, wasn't it? Because you stopped for ages.
Yeah, and like this one's taking me 35 hours.
But that's been about 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, it was like a month. Shut up.
Yeah, okay.
And I was like, oh yeah, so I've probably only got like 70 odd hours. I have like 280, and I'm like, where the fuck have I got? Okay, fine. So like, I went for because there's 3 endings. I went for the other 2. One of them just made me sad because my boyfriend got really mad at me. He's like, I go up to her and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he folds his arms and he looks down his nose at me and goes, "The betrayer." And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Looks like I have poor taste in friends and even poorer taste in lovers." And I was like, "Don't do this to me." I need your approval so badly, digital man. But then I went and did the other one and it was way better.
Didn't you also find out that by loading the very final bit of the game...
Don't fucking expose me like this!
And upping the difficulty, that you can get the achievements for beating the game on harder difficulties by just upping it at the last second.
Okay, so I completed
after
it.
any real gameplay has ended.
Yeah, but in my defense, shut up. And you can't do that for hardcore mode or like, hardcore mode is basically Iron Man mode.
Oh.
Where if you have a party wipe, it's like the hardest difficulty, and if you get a party wipe, it deletes your save. It is evil, and I will probably try that once, and then
cry, and then
I'll probably get like 10 minutes in and go, "No, I don't want to do this anymore."
No. That's one of those options I just wouldn't even go near.
Yeah. But no, it was really interesting just how going through a second time, because I went through with the Lizard Conjurer. I think I like lizards because they're like 8 feet tall and big scary things. And my lizard is super cool. She's very nice. And I took a different party apart from Iffen because he's like my favorite character. He's such a dude.
Yeah.
So I took like the Red Prince and I took Fane, who are the 2 dickhead characters basically. They're the 2 douches who like the first time you meet the Red Prince, he grabs you by the mouth and appraises your teeth to see if you'd make a good fucking servant. And I slapped his fucking hand away then, and at the end of the game with this lizard, when he was like, "Oh yes, you see, would you like to be my servant again?" And I punched him in the fucking face.
Good.
And he's like, "A simple no would have sufficed." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I like punching you."
No.
Okay.
It's like, after all we've been through together, and fuck you, dude. But yeah. And it was really interesting seeing different parts, or like different kind of threads that I hadn't closed on my first playthrough. So like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a thing you can do on the second island, the second area you get to, Driftwood, that you do something and you help the spirit of an elf. And it's a little bit tricky, and you have to have the right character tag. So you need to be a scholar and a mystic, and, you know, so you need to be able to understand what you need to do.
Your character has to have the right SEO.
I wouldn't put it that way, but okay.
So metadata needs to be in order.
And I get to, like, I do a quest in the final area of, it's just this big city. I'm not going to say what it is in case spoilers. But yeah, and I just come out and I'm wandering through town, and this like ghost of an elf pops into existence and is like, "Thank you for helping me by doing XYZ. Here, do you want this outrageously broken piece of fucking armor?" And I'm like, yes, more than any. It was like a shield, because conjurers can take shields. And the best shields that I had access to at that point were maybe about 500 physical armor. This was 1,100. And like, bear in mind, like, this is like end game stuff where you're like level 19, level 20.
Yeah.
Which is like the highest you can really get to is like 21, 22 at the absolute highest. And I was just like, yes, that's amazing.
Isn't this the game where like the max level is like 35, but it's basically impossible to get there without cheats?
Yeah, like that is the cap on XP, but you can't get anywhere near that again without like mods and cheats. And it's just like, I wonder why they put it so high.
Maybe because
I guess maybe it's because like if you kill anything, it gets you XP, and you can just kill an entire city if you want to.
Maybe you can get to 35 if you literally murder everybody.
Someone will have tried that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I decided to have a stupid build where I just decided to go all conjurers because they're my favorite caster. And it's cool, but it just, every fight takes 10 times as long because you have to keep summoning totems and like monsters. And that takes a while. But yeah, there's like a part when you get to the prison camp you're being sent to, where one of the game's big bads is like killing one of her subordinates for insubordination. And it's basically there to set her up as a villain. And if you try and walk close, then her like guards like basically knock you down away. And I was like, I wonder if I can just hit her right now, to punch her right in the fucking nose. You can.
Oh.
She kills you in one fucking hit. Just, you are fucking dead. Gone for it. And I was like, well, I mean, at least the option's there. That's kind of fun. But yeah, there's been loads of little bits, and like seeing like little bits of the Red Princess story and Fane's story as well is like, oh, that's cool. That's interesting. And like, yeah, it's just been nice to see a bunch of stuff that I missed that are just very kind of like, oh yeah, this person like you gave a beer to or whatever in the first chapter is like, they run up and they find you at this point in the end game, and they're like, hey, here's this thing, and you're like, oh shit, okay. Cool. So that's nice. But yeah. Also, I picked up Divinity Original Sin 1. It's been hard to play because it doesn't control anywhere near as well as Divinity Original Sin 2.
Okay.
That is one of the problems of playing any game series out of order, that you end up going back to some of the older games and going, well, this just isn't as good as the later ones, because all these like
all these quality of life upgrades just aren't there.
It's a bit like when I went back to play Demon's Souls after playing like Dark Souls 1, 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, oh, this just isn't as good.
Yeah, I mean, like the action point thing, because in DOS 2, it's like every 5 meters is an action point, which is easy to understand.
Yeah.
Whereas in DOS 1, it's like, oh no, if you want to move, like, say, what would be 10 meters in DOS 2, that takes 7 action points or whatever, and you can't attack. And, like, attacking takes, like, 3 or 4 instead of just the stock standard 2.
Yeah.
It's just confusing. And there's an item in DOS 2 that I love, which is the bedroll, where you click on it and it basically brings up everyone's health. It gives them the rested bonus, and it replenishes their physical and magical armor. I haven't found a bedroll like that in the first one, and it's horrible, because it's like, oh yeah, if something hurts you, then unless you have a heal spell, fuck you.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I'm going to try and stick with it, because I want to see where it came from. There's already a couple of characters I've met.
Are you going to go back and play the rest of the Divinity games?
I'll see. I'll see.
There's a bunch of them.
Because, like, there's a couple of characters, and I won't spoil who, are actually present in this as well as DOS 2, and I was like, oh, I know that guy! Oh my god, he's a party member? Oh, okay. I've got a party of 4 together, because you start off as 2 source hunters. And you can't change your race. You can't be like an elf or a dwarf or anything. You have to be human.
You can't even be a giant skeleton lizard.
I can't even be a giant skelly lizard. I know, it's terrible.
What's the point in video games if you can't be a skeleton warrior?
That's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, yeah, you're just walking along and like with 2 people. So I've got a couple of characters wandering around, and I've got a couple of characters. I've got Medora, which I'll get to Medora. And I've got Walgraf, who is amazing, and I love him. So Walgraf, I was just exploring this city and looking underneath. I was wandering around in this hatch I found that takes you to basically the sewers. And I see this guy he's underneath a wishing well, and he's just picking up the coins. And I go up, and I'm like, hi, and he immediately jumps to attack. He's got his knives out, and he's like, I'm like, hey, it's cool. Just wanted to say hello. Man underneath the city picking up gold coins. And it turns out he's a mute. So he doesn't say anything to you, obviously, because he's a mute, and he pulls out a bit of parchment, and he writes on the paper, and it's just like, the parchment says, and then the narrator reads
it, yeah.
And I guess they did get a guy for Walgraf's voice, because the narrator's like, the man pulls out a parchment of paper and shows it to you, and then there's like, oh, hello there, and you're like, okay. And I just thought that was really awesome. Yeah. It's like, oh my god, I have a disabled partner. This is amazing. This is so cool. Yeah, it's like you learn a bit about his story and how he lost his voice and stuff like that, and how he says that people think he's stupid because he can't speak, but he's actually really fucking smart. And it's just like, this guy is amazing. I love him so much. And then I get to Medora, who, now let me describe a character to you and tell me if you think that somebody foresaw me existing and made a character specifically to appeal to me.
Right.
Okay? She is a big, tall, strong lady.
Yeah.
Who wields a big sword.
Right.
She's in armor, sensible armor.
Okay.
She has a wolf pelt draped over her shoulders.
Right.
Okay.
Big facial scarring.
Yeah.
Grey hair.
Right.
Southern American accent.
Yeah.
She is literally the perfect person. Now, let me tell you, it broke my heart when I heard her speak. Why, howdy there! It's me, Medora, and I have a really fucking dumb accent. That's how she fucking took. The voice acting in this game is the worst thing in the world. It's not even hilarious Resident Evil 1. It's just takes away all solemnity from every scene. It's so terrible.
Just to be clear, that's an accurate representation of how bad a southern accent it is.
It is.
It's not just funny because it's a southern American
No,
accent.
that's the thing. Southern accents are great, but the thing is, this lady can't do one.
Yeah.
And so it's you're supposed to say, her lines read something like, oh, another source hunter. Didn't expect to see you guys so far from home. I'm from the north. You probably, we don't mix much with the southern source hunters, but I'd like to join you along for your ride. See how I said that?
Yeah.
Sounded very normal. She's like, well, source hunters, I'm from up north. And it's just the intonation is fucked. It's I can tell you're sitting there reading a piece of paper, trying to sound interesting for the first time. I don't want to rag on the voice actor because,
it's always tricky with those kind of things.
It's tricky,
you don't...
doing something in an accent. It is hard.
I mean, if I remember rightly, because I think we looked up the actress, I think is like, I think she is like English American.
Yeah, she's like English American who spent most of her time in London.
Yeah.
She like grew up in London. And it's like, hey, you know, unfortunately they made you do a Southern American accent, which is, I think if she just did just her normal American accent, it would be fine.
I think it might be a bit of a tracer issue where it's someone who already has the accent but being asked presumably to amp it up a bit, and it ends up sounding unnatural.
Yeah, but I mean the voice acting in like the entirety of the game isn't great. But I mean it's basically an indie game, so like I don't mind.
Yeah.
It's just, sometimes it does kind of like, I was very tempted to not have Medora in my party, because I was like, do I really want to listen to that voice for the next 40 hours? Because, so I'm tempted to turn the voices off, but I feel really bad about doing that. But yeah, this like, it is clunky and it's hard to go back to, but I'm going to try and tough it out, because I want to see kind of like pre-DOS2 stuff, you know, because so I want to see that. I'll give it my best.
Yes.
But yeah, apart from that, I haven't really been doing anything. Apart from, you know,
breathing and eating occasionally.
Yeah. Drummer butt.
Have you been breathing and eating?
I have.
I've been doing lots of both.
Good.
Good. We always like to hear that.
Save some air for the rest of us, dude.
I've been. So I left to go to do some travels the morning after we recorded the last episode, and got back yesterday evening. So. Yes.
So so what have you been doing, you lazy schmuck?
Well, I've messed up my streak of actually having a new game to play each podcast for this year. Which
I think it's allowed.
I mean, just this once, I guess.
But I have done a few bits because all the various travelling. I had lots of time. I just downloaded a bunch of Netflix things and put on to watch.
I
on
downloaded a bunch of
Netflix.
Things.
So I've watched all of Castlevania.
Cool.
Yes.
And I've watched the first series and then the shorts of Discovery.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So
you've got something to talk about with
I do have
to talk about with Wib.
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
Let Wib go first.
Okay.
All right. Discovery.
Yes.
I watched it this time because I can't remember whenever it first came out, but I did watch the first, and I think I talked about it on the podcast when you were talking about it as well.
Yeah.
I watched the first maybe 3 episodes, I think, and just wasn't massively enjoying it, and just stopped watching. And then I wasn't really upset about talking about it with you for spoilers, because I was like, I'm not going to watch it again.
Yeah.
But I did watch it again, and I enjoyed it. I just had to. I think last time I went into it thinking, like, not trying to be critical, but I just went into it, and all I was doing while I was watching it was in my head pointing out all of the like flaws and all of the inconsistencies and all the stupid things.
Yeah.
Whereas this time I went to it thinking, you know, it's Star Trek, it's science fiction. If I just compartmentalize all the weird, you know, science like babble, like just nonsense, if I just put in that in the same box as, you know, warp engines and spore drives and all these other things, and go, you know what, that's just part of it and that's fine. And then I just watched it and didn't criticize the way through, and it meant that I actually just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of like the same kind of thing I went through of just. I was just realizing I was just being like so overly critical about it.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just. Yeah.
I think it's a show like that is based on such an old property that can, you know, like I know, like I've seen. I mean, there's something like 700 episodes of like Star Trek, like before this, like throughout the various seasons of various shows. So like I've spent a significant portion of my life watching Star Trek.
Yeah.
So, you know, when something new comes along that changes stuff, you can't. There's that little part of you that feels a little betrayed by it.
Yeah, totally. And I completely get if anyone doesn't like it for any reason. I completely get that.
Oh, but, yeah, there's plenty of like reasons beyond that I can see why someone would dislike it. Yeah, and
even like I understand why if people don't like it because of those reasons. Like that's completely valid. But I just tried to enjoy it, and just by trying to enjoy it, by a few episodes in, and I got used to it all. I didn't have to try to enjoy it anymore. I was just straight up enjoying it.
Yeah,
which was quite good. So it's got me. I mean, I won't talk too much because I think you've been through quite a lot of the episodes in detail. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I really liked all four of the shorts. Like I enjoyed each one of them. Well, because you were a bit like, some of them were good, some of them were whatever. But I really
the one I
enjoyed
didn't
all
like
four of
was the
them.
one that featured Saru.
Yeah.
Most heavily. Just because that felt a little dull compared to the others, really. And especially because Calypso is so good.
Yeah, that's the one that's like separate.
Yeah. The one that only kind of even starts to make sense once you've watched the whole of season 2.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was the best. Yeah, I'd agree with that. That was really good.
Hell, I recommended that to people just to watch, even if you don't like Discovery. And people did, and they agreed with that, so that was good. It turns out I don't talk bollocks all the time.
Not all the time.
Like
Yeah, I'm really
70-30.
looking, because the general perception of it is that season 2 is vastly better than season 1.
Yes.
So, and
Vastly.
I quite enjoy season 1 now. So,
Yeah. I'll be intrigued to see
I'm-
how you feel about season 2 then. So yeah, you should give that a shot.
oh yes, I definitely will. I have some Doctor Who to get through first because they took it off French Netflix. So when I was back in the UK, I added it to my downloaded things on when I was there. So I've got 40 days or however long they last for to get through whatever of that I've got left.
Is this the latest season?
No, I think it goes up to season 10 on Netflix in the UK.
Okay.
And so I've got the second half of that to go. And then I can't even remember if season 11 is the now new Doctor one, or if I'm not even sure, to be honest.
I'm not very up on my new Who, so
No, I've been watching it on and off for the last few years, so I never sit down often enough to watch it and remember where I'm up to. But I do enjoy the episodes.
Isn't it weird how Doctor Who is literally ruined because women exist?
I know it's terrible.
R.I.P. Doctor Who, like that actually, like people died.
There has never been a Doctor Who that people didn't like before. That's never happened in the show's history.
No, never. You know why?
Everyone absolutely adored the Colin Baker run.
Fucking, they honestly, they were just
notorious
like,
how much people liked it.
Salivating, they loved it so much.
The actual the
shocking.
ratings for Jodie's it's Jodie, isn't it? Or something?
Jodie Whittaker, yeah.
That's the one. The ratings for it, just in terms of number of people watching it, was a massive increase. Because I happened to be so. I mean, the internet is critical and awful.
Almost
but,
as if representation is really cool.
Yeah.
And if you could regenerate into anything, why would it be just old white people?
And it's been long established that, they can turn, when a Time Lord regenerates, they don't have to regenerate as the same sex. That's been long established.
Yeah.
Also, if you believe, one of them, one of the many stories, I think it's a Tom Baker story, they don't even have to regenerate into something that looks human.
You mean that there could literally be a Time Lord who could regenerate into, an Elcor?
I mean, if you decide that Elcors are in canon with Doctor Who, then I suppose.
Okay.
And this is bearing in mind...
What about Barry the Blue Egg?
What?
Barry the Blue Egg. I saw him in some clips of Doctor Who. He's just like an egg who is blue, and he's in a box. Barry the Blue Egg.
Okay, is this from New Who or Old Who?
New Who.
Okay, that's why I haven't...
He's the bald man who is blue, and his head is in a box.
Oh, okay, so it's the blue guy's head. Okay, yeah, I actually think I know what you're talking about.
It's Gary the Blue Egg.
His nickname's Gary now.
Yeah, I wrote that episode. I should fucking know.
Okay. See, I'm vaguely familiar with a lot of Old Who weird shit, but New Who weird shit I'm less familiar with. So
That's fair.
But anyway, back on topic.
How dare you?
Very keen to continue a Discovery, and it surprised me how much I enjoyed it. It might have been because I had 36 hours of bus rides within 5 days.
Dude,
but
no
for
way.
whatever reason, I enjoyed it, so that's
But
fine.
your legs are so long. Did you have to crunch up?
A little bit. It was a pretty nice bus. It had Wi-Fi and power sockets and
That's that's a premium bus right there. That is what the omnibus refers to.
It's an alpha bus.
it's not that good.
No, the Alpha bus has Lex toilets.
Oh.
To be fair, I'm saying that about Alpha. He'd probably back me up on that. He'd be like, no. He'd double down.
I might have to explain to him what the toilets from Lex were like first, but
Yeah, because no one else knows.
Don't Google it, Alpha, please.
All right.
Please no.
Other thing I was watching, Castlevania.
Yes.
Which, straight up, yeah, really enjoyed it. It's
So
good.
good. So good.
Again, I don't have too much to say because you've spoken about it, I think.
I don't care. I want to talk about it more with you.
Okay, what would you like to talk about?
I would like to talk about
How it's really good.
how it's really good.
It is really good.
Yeah.
No, I do have two. I told you, I have two criticisms of it.
Okay.
One
Yeah,
of
but you
them
didn't say, so...
you might think is valid. One of them it annoys me more than the other one, but you probably think is silly.
Okay.
So which do you want first?
Let's have the valid one first,
Okay.
so we can save all the judging of you.
Okay,
for later.
cool. And yeah, again, straight up, I really enjoyed the show, and I'm not. It's just these two things did annoy
No,
me as I was
dude,
watching.
you're
so.
allowed to have criticism, and there's the occasional person in our YouTube comments who goes, "Oh yes, so you criticize things you like hypocrites." It's like, yeah, or like we say that we like something, and then we say this thing has flaws though, and then someone will go fucking spare.
Yeah, but that's
and
just...
go, "Oh, you're a liar, you're a hypocrite." It's like, no, it just means that literally there is nothing above critique.
Yeah, but yeah, people are weird on the internet. They don't know what critique is.
Yeah. yeah. Carry on, Drumbledum.
So my I think legit criticism of it is that while the dialogue is quite good and the voice acting is quite good, there's like a really awkward pause in between every single line. Like they'll be having two people will be having a conversation, and there's like a good few seconds between each line of dialogue, and it feels like they're both stood in different rooms on like walkie-talkies with delay on it, and it just I just don't understand why they couldn't have because the voice acting is good,
Yeah.
but they just don't mesh it together at all well, and I just don't understand why.
Honestly, I didn't notice, but if that
just
bugs you, then...
Yeah, it just made the whole thing feel really slow-paced, even when it was like all actiony, it was really, I just found it so weird.
I do kind of get you think about there are certain parts that feel slower paced, and I guess that would contribute to it.
Yeah, it just
but
felt
I
like
never
none of
really
the characters were really ever in the same place.
I never specifically noticed that, though.
Watch it again now, and I'm sorry if I've ruined it for anyone who
that's
hadn't
fair,
noticed
that's
that. But I just found it so. I was like, this thing is so well made. I don't understand why this is. And maybe it's it must be a style choice, not a.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they did it
But-
so that it was like every sentence could hang in the air, and it would give the impression of like the person who's listening it gives the impression that the person who is being spoken to is listening and formulating a response.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah,
if you found it rough, then
yeah,
you
no,
found
it was just I just found it confusing as to why it was like that. To be honest, they just didn't make it. It just meant it. I didn't ever quite settle into just. You're watching something and you forget that you're sat in a room watching it on a telly and you're sort of in with it. Mm-hmm. And I just never quite got that with it.
Okay.
I always felt sort of constantly reminded that I was watching a cartoon.
Okay.
And I still really enjoyed it. It just, that's if I was in charge, that's something I'd change.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
So your valid critique that we've said
Yeah.
we didn't
No,
even
what about
notice
your
the thing.
invalid?
Now let's hear your
Okay.
bullshit critique.
This one annoyed me so much and almost got me stopped watching the show.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Every single character has one stray bit of hair down the front of their face. And at no point does anyone go or like brush it out of their face. And I don't understand why, and it's really annoying.
Dude, anime as a whole is not for you. If that bugs you that much, just stay the fuck
it's
away
like,
from
if
anime.
you have that annoying hair on your face, you just like occasionally, not all the time, but just at one point within the whole like 15 episodes or something, someone would like, I just don't understand.
Well, Trevor falls at one point and it's not there. What's your problem, mate?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It just,
dude.
every single time I saw it, I started noticing, and then every single time it like got me a little bit annoyed. Like, not really, but it was just enough there to be like, oh, it's still that. Why?
I can understand, because basically the entire reason I have never actually got around to watching Steven Universe, and I will at some point give it a shot, is the way they draw lips, like, just bothers me.
Well, because they do look very kind of like, that kind of strange, like, meh.
Okay.
Like, this doesn't play good for a listening audience, but just like,
No.
when like lips go the...
No! This is the worst way of explaining it for a podcast.
when they kind of like, and then they go...
No, you can't do it and then say, you know what I mean, because it doesn't play.
Okay,
You need to describe using your words.
Okay, so...
If you do it again, we're just moving on.
So, you know, when you get lips and they're kind of like... Meh.
Okay, we're moving on. The lips of Steven Universe bother me slightly. I will watch it at some point because it's a very petty reason not to watch it.
I think the tummy button thing is gross, though.
What,
they have
the
like
gem?
a gem in the belly button.
I don't think all of them do.
The only problem I have with Steven Universe is that everyone pronounces it peridot, and I want to headbutt someone until they shit themselves because it's peridot, because it's French. It really annoys me. And also when the lips go...
Okay, please, Matt, talk about something else.
Okay, no, that's me done. I have been watching Game of Thrones, obviously. Oh, I do have something to say about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything about plot-wise. It's just, I just can't... Everyone I've watched this series with, I've watched a few episodes with a few different people who's just gone, oh yeah, that was cool. Yeah, we've chatted about it, and just we've all been chatting. And then I went on the internet. The internet doesn't like it.
No.
Yeah.
And I was just like, kind of caught off guard, because everyone I've watched it with in real life and everyone I've spoken to with real life is like really liked it.
Have been plants.
I was just like,
HBO plants. There to convince you.
Into my life, just so
life.
I talk about it well on this podcast, which influences their like bottom line.
Didn't you know this is the most famous Game of Thrones podcast out there? If you start talking about how good the latest season is, we have that influence, man. We have it. That's why they need to get to you.
You know what I find most interesting about the latest season of Game of Thrones, as someone that hasn't watched it, but, you know, sort of cares just enough to not want to get spoilers, because I'll watch it at some point, or I'll catch up with the last 3 seasons at some point, is that... So... A lot of the people I'm seeing say that they really hate this season has not just been the usual people you'd expect. It's been people...
Well, I mean, Oculus has been saying that he's basically sworn a blood feud against it.
Yeah, basically, I've not seen anyone on my timeline, like on Twitter or what have you, saying they like it. Like, loads of people who normally have been enjoying it up until this season, like how it's just, you know, how much they hate it. But... This has also caused all the people that were so careful to never give away spoilers. So I literally do not know anything that happens in the last couple of seasons. But I know so much about this season because people have gone, no, I've got to fucking talk about it. Oh, God. And people just stopped caring about not giving spoilers.
On my Twitter, I have muted Game of Thrones and all things to do with Game of Thrones. So I'm not seeing anything.
I'm seeing a lot of it, and I'm too lazy to mute it. And I'm sort of just now curious to watch people's slow descent into madness over
it is like people are basically the universal reaction online is that everyone hates this season and retroactively now hates all of Game of Thrones up until this point.
I can
this
understand
season is so bad it's made everything else bad as well.
I can understand being resentful of the time sync because that is a whole lot of hours that a lot of people have watched. But at the same time,
before anyone writes in and says anything about me having the minorest of minor criticisms of Castlevania and then no criticisms of Thrones, like...
Oh yeah, wait a minute, you hate the hair in the face and you're watching Game of Thrones being like, this is
I'm
a perfect
not saying it's
pinnacle of
perfect.
television.
I'm just saying I'm so surprised by just the, like, density and the depth of the criticism. And especially when people are saying, oh, this happened and that's, you know, against characters, just like, well, no, nothing, no. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about it because some people might not know, and I want to keep them pure.
Yeah.
It just took me by surprise, and I just wanted to say that you might think I'm wrong. That's fine, but I'm just really enjoying it. So,
dude, I'm glad that you're enjoying it. And honestly, I can't, in like 4 years when I finally catch up, I look forward to telling you why you're wrong.
yeah, fair.
Like objectively incorrect about your subjective opinion.
In fairness, that's probably the only time that you can really talk about it, because then we could actually talk about it on the podcast because it'll be 4 years gone, so no one will care about spoilers by that point.
But yeah, that's me done.
Okay.
I hear that they stopped playing the Game of Thrones and there's just one throne now.
Yeah, it's just Game of Thrones.
Game of Throne.
No, but it's multiple games, so it's Games of Throne.
Oh my God.
Games of Throne. It doesn't work. No,
Games of Throne. Singular.
The theme tune doesn't work that way.
So does that mean it's time to talk about that Warhammer Fest?
The Warhammer Fest. Okay, so y'all... Warhammer Fest was last weekend, probably 2 weekends ago by the time you hear this, but trust us, it was at least like a day ago. From the 11th and the 12th of May, and we went on the 11th, which is the Saturday.
Yes.
And only went to one little seminar because...
Of reasons.
Yeah. But no, that I don't know. I just want to say, first off, I had a hecking ton of fun.
It was a really great time, yeah.
It was an exhausting day, but it was just so much fucking fun. And just seeing people hear Drummer Matt speak, stop and go, oh shit, it's that boy. Never got old.
Yeah, how does it feel? Because we've been recognised a few times out in the wild, so we were sort of prepared for it happening a bunch. But how was it for you, Matt? Because you've not really had this before, have you?
You're
No,
a
I mean,
normal person.
being a drummer, no one recognises you, even if they've just seen your band play.
Oh, I get your rhythm guitarist. No one fucking knows I'm in the band.
Bassist.
So
The
yeah,
rhythm
it's,
section.
Yeah.
it's nice for people to come up and say hi. Or come up and say hi to you, hear me say hi, and then go, oh shit. Yeah, it was slightly surreal, but good fun.
Yeah, we managed to get like a big crowd of amazing people together to hang out with. I mean, we
Yeah, we had like a proper entourage.
We did, yeah, it was pretty rad. We went down with Unity and Cinnamon Girl and met up with Longfang at the con. And then we just kept gathering awesome people throughout the day.
Yeah.
And it was just awesome hanging out with everybody, and we claimed like a couple of couches and just spent like 2 hours there just hanging out. It was awesome.
I will say, just before we get into like the actual meat of what we're going to talk about from Warhammer Fest, big thank you to the people who had like either brought or bought us gifts while we were there. We were not expecting it, and thank you very much. I also want to say a personal thing. I said this on Twitter as well. I apologise if anyone we met, I started to sound a bit weird by the end of the day.
Whip had about 2 hours sleep.
So I was, if that, I was crazy sleep deprived and exhausted by the end of the day.
He gets a bit bonkers when he's sleep deprived. And
so,
I was just a bit bonkers anyway.
So I remember myself being normal, but also I was not in my right mind 100%. So if I came across as weird, I apologise, but I think I was mostly a normal human.
You say that I got slapped by Longfang for teasing one of the guys at one of the game booths. Because I was like, Unity and we were going to go off and play Chaos Bane.
We'll get to talking about that in a second. So
okay.
You can tell your anecdote about Chaos Bane in a second, because we should organise this thing vaguely. Okay. Because otherwise we'll be talking about a large sum of things in a free-form manner. It'll be confusing.
Okay. I really liked the cosplay. It was awesome.
Yes, there was a lot of cosplay there.
Daddy Dawn got stuck in an elevator. Because he was so huge.
He was approximately the size of the elevator.
Yeah.
Like, hunched over, he took up most of the volume in there.
Mm-hmm. So we had like a bunch of Imperial Guard around him, like kind of like trying to maneuver him in. Because like he must have been on stilts or something, and you can't go up stairs on stilts.
Same problem had those a World Eaters guy who was probably the tallest.
Yeah, because he had like the bunny ears and everything. He was huge.
Bunny ears.
Yeah, bunny ears. Little corn.
I've just never heard them called that before.
Yeah, they're quite common to call them bunny ears.
Little bunny buns.
Amazing.
When I walked in and saw him, I literally put my hands on my face and squeed. I was like,
but yeah, there was a handful of cosplay there. It was pretty good.
There was a Death Company Marine that I saw, like, because they were walking down the line as we were queuing up to get in, and then like really good cosplay. I mean, all the cosplay I saw was great, but like, I'm just going, that's really cool. And then I didn't see him for the rest of the con.
I think he like walked around at the start and then packed up and then just went to the con normally. I think.
I mean, I think that's what like the guy in the World Eaters costume did, because like he took off his helmet and was walking around without his helmet for a while. I remember in the group someone was like, "Where's your fucking nails?" It's like, yeah, like just literally just hammer some nails into him. It's fine.
Oh, it's fine.
But yeah, and like he had to like crouch to get out of doors and stuff, and I just kind of wanted to point at them and go, "See how fucking stupid you look when you say the Emperor is 30 feet tall? Do you fucking see how stupid you look?" Because that's like, yeah, because that guy was like 9 feet tall with his bunny ears on, and it's like, do you see how dumb 9 feet tall is? I mean, again, cosplay was awesome. Yeah. But it's just me getting into complaining about people misunderstanding height. Yeah. But yeah, there was is she a Celestine?
There was like, I think there was supposed to be Celestine.
I think she was a Celestine. She was rad. Bunch of Imperial Guard. and like commissars. There was that friend of Unity's and Sin's who was
Tech priest.
a tech priestess who had a little toaster with her, which had like her kind of like cosplay like cards in.
Yeah.
It was really cool. She was awesome, and she had trouble getting in the elevator as well.
Because she had
all the,
dendrites and servo arms
At one
and
point, I
stuff.
saw her going down the stairs, and she had like 4 or 5 people around her, like
Just
moving all of her like tentacles
Yeah.
and things out of the way of the other stairs and banisters and things.
Yeah,
It was
it's
a
like-
proper team effort.
Yeah, it's still awesome though.
Yeah, very,
But
very
yeah,
awesome.
the cosplay there was phenomenal.
There was a Tau stealth suit, which was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was my
stealth suit.
favourite because all of the like Imperial and Marine stuff was all like super impressive.
Yeah.
But it looked like so professionally done. Whereas this Tau one, and this is a compliment before you say anything. Like, it looked more homemade, which actually made it more impressive to me. Because I saw those and I was like, well, I don't know how long it took you to make this, but you've like obviously got some sort of team and you spent a lot of money on this. Whereas the Tau guy was like, you've made
Like,
this
he-
yourself
that
in your
was like-
garage. And,
Yeah, that was like Wild West cosplay.
and it
He'd
was
done
really good. It
himself.
was just like, you could see a bit where it was like slightly made of foam or whatever. And that I'm not insulting it at all. It's just that impressed me more because it was like more real somehow.
Well, I mean, I guess
Okay,
it's,
yeah.
if you're 3D printing everything, there is of course quite a degree of skill to that. But when you're carving everything out of foam, that's so much more hardcore.
I guess it's something you don't see either.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I did love that guy's cosplay. There was also one of the Night Haunts.
Oh yeah, there was someone as a banshee or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because
fancy.
I was just sat there because we were sat quite close to the lift, and I see someone at this point, and I turn around, and I was like, "Whoa, okay,
Skull Ghost.
Skull Ghost, just fucking there." Ooh.
Skull Ghost out of nowhere.
I did not expect to see a Skull Ghost, and it did kind of like make me jump a bit. I was like, "Woof," but it was great. But yeah, it was cool, and like everyone there was so fucking friendly and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
nice.
One
Yeah.
thing I did really notice that was nice was because there were, it was less, they're trying to sell you something. Speaking to Games Workshop staff in a much more open and kind of, much more kind
Candid.
of earnest and candid manner. So, like, you were able to talk to them and actually, get kind of closer to their real opinions about things.
I nearly threw fucking hands with one of them. Like, I
Okay.
was standing there with, in a playful way, I was standing there with Longfang looking at the Venerable Dreadnoughts, because fucking, of course, where else would I be?
Yeah.
Like, the Space Wolf Venerable Dreadnought with the shield and the axe.
Yeah.
I was just, like, salivating over that boy, and, like, GW employee comes up and is like, "Hey, that's cool. You thinking of having a Murderfang?" And I was like, "No!" And he was like, "You don't like Murderfang?" I'm like, "No!" And he was like, "Oh, okay then, that's, And they were like, "Oh, what was it?" He was like, "Okay, that's all right. I'm not going to talk to you about that then." Having a joke
Yeah.
of like, "Oh, because he obviously very much liked Murderfang,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, it's just against the law." I was being that dickhead.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, what about the Space Wolf Funko Pop?" And I was like, Funko Pops, and he was like, "You can't tell me that you don't like Funko Pops as well." And Longfang kind of put his hand on my shoulder and held his hand up to the guy, going, "Okay, so this is a professional courtesy that I'm not going to throw you through a window." Like, we just have basically pretending that we were going to fight this guy,
Yeah.
which he seemed to quite enjoy pretending as well. But yeah, that was fun. And I ended up, like, Longfang bought me a Funko Pop anyway, and actually, I love him.
and the thing is now, because you ended up getting a couple of Venerable Dreadnoughts.
Yeah, I got 2 of them because I bought one and Longfang bought me another one.
So
So now I'm like, I'm going to have a Council's Murderfang, but it's not going to be Murderfang. It's just going to use the rules for it because Murderfang is balls, and I hate Murderfang.
but his claws and his rules are kind of fun.
That's
so-
the thing. It's like the Venerables are just slightly not as good as a Murderfang. So I'm
Well,
just
it was because it's like you might as well have
the sword and
Murderfang.
shield, the axe and shield.
Well, yeah, if you're going to have Murderfang, or if you're going to have like a Wolfen Dreadnought, you might as well have Murderfang because he does kind of the same job but a bit better for a little bit more.
Yeah, but
points.
it's not going to be Murderfang.
Yes,
It's not going to be Murderfang. Shut up.
Yeah, important.
it'll be
point.
Manslaughter Tooth.
No.
Manslaughter. Yes, he will be Manslaughter Tooth.
No. Bad. It should be Manslaughter Molar.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Come
let's
on,
go with
guys.
that.
I'm way better at naming stuff.
But yeah, so shall we get into the things that were sort of announced or talked about there and sort of go through a kind of quick kind of
Yes.
rundown of like opinions and
Yes.
stuff?
I'm also not going to talk about the Greg's ham salad mayo roll that I kept in my bag for 3 hours by accident and then ate it anyway.
That's probably good that we don't hear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I just thought I'd just fluff just to annoy you. Did it work?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So well done. So first off, just because this happens to be the first thing in the list, the video games.
Sorry. Yeah, the first panel we saw was on video games, which was the last panel of the day.
Don't at us.
Don't judge.
We made mistakes.
This is our first Warhammer Fest. Fuck off.
So we went. So we saw that, and also you got some hands-on playing Chaos Bane as well.
Yes, I
just on
played
the
some
floor.
Chaos Bane, which was pretty interesting.
So at the video game seminar, there was 3 people. Well, there was
3 representatives.
5 people talking, but it was for 3 different games.
Yeah.
So there was Mechanicum, a game called Chaos and Conquest, and Battlefleet Gothic 2. So Mechanicum, not Mechanicum, it's Mechanicus.
Yeah, Mechanicus.
I always go.
Fake fan alert.
I always say Mechanicum, but that's like the pre-heresy Mechanicus.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That's my brain just always forgets.
Because you're a nerd.
It's one of those things I always get mixed up. But yeah, Mechanicus, the game. So a guy got up and talked about it and talked about some of the stuff they're going to be doing in the future and talked about how they integrated like the lore into the game design
Yeah.
and stuff, which was really interesting to hear someone talk
It was
about.
really cool kind of seeing kind of like how they interpreted a lot of the lore into gameplay mechanics because, well, they pulled it off.
Yeah, and like how to incentivize like using things like servitors as throwaway troops. Not,
Yeah.
How to
And
kind of make the gameplay like feel natural towards that to give a kind of feel of inherently disposable troops.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things they said that I thought was really interesting was that they went into the game at the start with the objective of making a game about an army that couldn't be reskinned to another army. Like you couldn't just reskin it and use another any other race or whatever with like a bit of gist. They wanted to make it so that the fundamental mechanics of the game was
No pun intended.
based, and then basically and then so it'd be like a core part of the game rather than just something tacked on. Or
Because they said
was really
later on
interesting.
when people were asking questions of them, like, oh, do you have any plans to make the Necrons playable? And they were like, well, the thing
How?
is, all the mechanics are based around the Mechanicus specifically. So, yeah, we could do it, but basically we'd be just making another game based
which they're
around the
completely
Necrons.
happy to do if someone will pay them for that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I was quite impressed with the guy because I asked a question. I was like, "Is there any plans for a new game plus or like an endless mode?" Because you get to the end of the game and you've got all these upgrades and everything, and you've got nothing really to do with them. And he was like, "Honestly, yeah, we would like to do that, but at the same time, we don't have the money for it. And if we don't have the money for it, it's not going to get done if it's not like a solid
Like,
financial
kinda-
step." And I was like,
yeah.
"Thank you for not fucking bullshitting me and literally just going, it's money." Because it is. And I just really appreciated him being kind of like very
that's the
straightforward
thing
with
that
me.
I wanted more than anything else in that game is to have something to do once the main campaign is over, because it does have a very definite end.
Yeah.
And if it's just we don't have the resources to make that, to realise that, then okay.
Yeah,
fair
and
enough.
that's what he said, and that's also why I asked on your behalf.
Yes.
Because I knew that was something you wanted to know.
But was too socially anxious to actually ask.
It's okay.
But they did bring up there's a new update that's going to be coming out that has Iron Man mode in it. So presumably, whenever a guy dies, they actually die.
It did
which they
say
don't
you
in the
can.
current
I
one.
think you can choose between whether you
Yeah.
want if you want permadeath for squads.
Well, that was the
or
thing
whatever.
of that, not just that mode, but to have a custom difficulty mode, so you can basically pull open a menu that you can say, "Oh, I want it so the Necrons are 400 times more difficult, and my characters are shit." So if you want to do that, you can do that, and they have permanent, and maybe set it to have permanent death and things, so you can do things like that to really fiddle with it.
It's quite a clever idea if you're not going to be able to put out a big kind of mechanic, a big kind of like change in a mechanic or a different game mode to give the ability to basically access a debug menu for difficulty is actually very clever, because it does give a lot of replayability, and that doesn't have much of a resource cost.
Yeah, and a bunch of extra extra weaponry added to it as well, like all different equipment that they're adding. So that's good. The second person was talking about a new mobile game called Chaos and Conquest.
Yeah, I'd actually, like, Longfang and I had spoken to this lady previously at the booth for it.
Yeah.
And she seemed very nice. I think she was the art director who just got sidled with doing the talk on a free-to-play mobile game, which... It's not exactly the best environment for those right now.
I feel sorry for anyone that has to get up and answer the question, does your game have microtransactions?
You saw her face kind of go, like, drop, and she was like, yes, it is free to play, and yes, there will be microtransactions. And you could kind of feel the room shift. It was like, okay. But, I mean, to be fair, like, the artwork for it was very, very cool.
She did a good job. I just don't think
she did a great job.
Going to play the game.
Yeah, it's because of bullshit monetization, or, recurrent user spending. They've changed the name of it, everybody. Keep a fucking eye out for it. There's sinister pricks like that. But the thing is, like, I don't have a problem for the people, like, the devs making the game, because they're just making cool shit. It's the fucking, it's the boardroom of the rich idiots at the top who are going, well, the kids, we need to monetize these whales and shit.
I mean, it's realistically, like, the mobile gaming market is just hot trash.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
one will
definitely going to give this game a go.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
And I'm really hoping it's not going to be really in your face about, like, microtransactions, like, say, an EA handheld game is.
Just to give a little bit of a thing of what the actual game is, it's a kind of base building thing, and so you send troops out, and it's, like, inherently multiplayer, so it could be as horrifically terrible a video game as Clash of Clans, but also it could be good as well.
Yeah, because it's about, it's more kind of geared towards fantasy.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's set in the old world.
Yeah. So you have, like,
old school Warhammer Fantasy as opposed to Age of Sigmar.
So you have, like, a Chaos Champion, you build up a fort, and there's, like, oh, these are, like, the different Chaos God towers that you can, like, get certain bonuses from and stuff like that. So someone did ask a really interesting question, which was like, oh, if you pledge to a certain Chaos God, does that change the lookout of your entire base? Like, does it change the aesthetic of your entire base? And I think there were plans to do that. But,
I think that's down the line, though. That's not going to be released. But the game's coming out at some point in the next month or so.
Because she wasn't allowed to give a definite date.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was actually really nice, because after the talk, she came and found Longfang and I.
Yeah.
And she was like, thank you so much for, like, being nice and smiling and listening. That was horrible. That was scary. It's like... And it was just like, yeah, no, they really stuck that poor person, like, with the short stick there.
Also because she was kind of sandwiched between two games that were premium games that were already released and already had fans.
Already had fans in the audience, yeah.
And then to have a free-to-play mobile game in the middle of that, like, that's a tough crowd.
Like, that doesn't begin...
tough sell.
Like, Short Straw doesn't begin to describe that. Oof. But I think she did really well with what she had, and yeah, I'm going to give it a go, and I'm not going to blame her for it if it's money grubbing as hell.
And also, if the cool artwork they've made for it ends up as a PDF on their website, thanks Snipe and Longfang for talking to her about that and saying you should do that.
Yeah, it's all us. It's Snipe and Longfang saves the day.
Yeah.
So that's just what we're doing.
And the last one to mention that was in the seminar was Battlefleet Gothic 2, which is quite funny, mostly because I'm pretty sure... So there's going to be a new campaign coming out soon, and they're not supposed to say what it is.
But the guy kind of flubbed. He was like, so the the campaign. Like, oh? The what now?
So
chaos.
Yeah. With the, like, GW guys to the side, like, somebody spun his head round and then daggers appeared everywhere.
Yeah, there was, like, the whole time they were, like, being vanguarded by this one GW employee who would occasionally turn round and glare daggers at the people speaking. It was fucking something to behold. So you knew that when the guy was, like, slipped out the word, the C word, he turned, his head snapped round and was like, like, Koyanis Katsi started playing, the lights dimmed, thunder cracked in the distance, a crow cried.
So a new Chaos campaign is probably on the way.
Yeah, that sounds good. Look out for that. Confirmed at Warhammer Fest.
Yeah. But again, they were quite open about talking about it. Like, like the reason why Battlefield Gothic 2 is so much bigger in scope is that the fans were like, it should be bigger, and so they made it bigger, and it wasn't big enough, so they basically went, fuck it, and just made it 4 times as big as that.
There was a joke going around of like, oh yeah, we started calling it the 200 game because it was like, how many ships do you want? 200. How many of this do you want? 200. Just everything had to be 200.
Yeah.
Oh, let me blow my nose.
Okay. Oh, this is going to be a long one again, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all done.
We've not got many questions.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so it was, it was interesting to see, because again, just hearing people talk about the game, of how they tried to integrate mechanics, and like someone was asking about why in the game, if they were planning to introduce planets, because planets were in the board game and you could do things with like gravity wells and things. But the answer is the sensible answer, which is, well, in the tabletop, that's kind of an abstracted idea, because obviously the planets aren't that big because they're tiny compared to the ships, whereas in the video game,
transfer of the medium makes
they
things
have
difficult.
to make the planets be real size because it's not as abstracted as the tabletop. And if you put a planet in the game, then that's the game, because it would be the size of the map.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be a lot bigger than that, compared to the ships. But, so they have to... There's certain things that they have to kind of take away from it, which is, all very interesting. And... but yeah, so that's getting another update soon. So that's cool.
Probably not chaos.
Probably not chaos.
Probably not chaos, y'all.
And the only other video game thing to talk about, which wasn't in the seminar, but you played, Snipe, was
Chaos Bane.
Chaos Bane.
Yeah, I played some of that with Unity, and I got slapped by Longfang for being a dick to the guy showing us it.
Why was that?
What did he do?
Okay, I didn't do... It wasn't that bad, but, okay, let me set the scene. So... It's kind of like a Diablo-esque kind of game. There's 4 characters to pick from. There's, Imperial Soldier, who looks exactly like Kruber from Vermintide. There's a High Elf Sorcerer, who I guess is just if you mash Saltspire and Sienna together. There's a... Oh, what are they called?
Wood Elf.
There's a Wood Elf, Scout, which is basically Carillion. And then there's a Dwarven Slayer, who looks... is Bardin, basically. And I went up and he was like, okay, you've played this game before? And I'm like, no, but I'm super excited to play it. And he's like, okay, so who do you want to be? And I'm like, I want to play as Kruber. And he kind of stopped and he went, that's not Kruber. Oh, that's not Kruber. I was like, but he looks like Kruber. And he's like, yes, but he's not. And then and he was like, and plus it takes place a couple of 100 years before Vermintide anyway. I was like, it's Kruber's granddad. And I just felt this... I was like, okay, Longfang, I'm sorry. Just slap me for being a dick, apparently.
Yeah, I imagine is it Fat Shark Games?
I think so.
Vermintide? They probably own the rights to the names of the characters.
Yeah, so it's even though it looks
and the
like
looks
them...
are based off generic models from GW, so they just used the same generic... They were basing them off the same generic kind of things, but that meant that some of the characters look remarkably close, so it...
Yeah. So, that guy was fucking done with my shit immediately. Played a bit of that. On the level I was playing, it was very red, very, the city burning down. So, the red gem above my character to show me where I was getting washed out super fucking hard.
Yeah.
So, I couldn't see where I was a lot of the time.
So it could do with having a different colour.
Yeah. The controls were a bit stiff. It's similar to Diablo 3, where when you basically you hold down the attack button, you just stand stock still and just start swinging your sword about. That's cool. It felt a little clunky about it though. It felt like it kind of glues you to the spot for a second longer than you should. And, it releases you a split second later than you feel is comfortable from when you stop attacking.
Yeah.
But other than that, it seemed just standard kind of Diablo kind of game, and I'm like, you know what, that's cool. I remember there was that 40k one where you could play
Inquisitor Martyr. I was about to ask how does it compare to that?
Honestly, compared to that, it is so much better, because I hated the way Inquisitor Martyr felt to play.
Yeah.
That was clunky, and just, I did not like that at all. That was not good. But yeah, no, I'm probably going to pick it up. I won't get it new, But I'm gonna probably pick it up like on sale or something.
Yeah.
'Cause, I like the Diablo kind of gameplay, and I like.
Actually, that's
like-
the point. Is this set in the old world as well, or is this an Age of Sigmar
Well,
thing?
it's
So I think it's
200 years prior to Vermintide, so
Oh yeah, of course that would be
Yeah.
old world. Yeah.
yeah, so it's old world.
Because the old world's a better setting than the Age of Sigmar.
And it's not like literally
Just
the
in
end of
general.
the fucking world.
I think that part of the problem is that Age of Sigmar is so radically different to a lot of things that you kind of have to make a game sort of based around the ideas of the different realms and things, as
Yeah.
opposed to being like this fantasy world that old school fantasy kind of adhered to. I can sort of understand why people keep setting games in that time period.
Yeah. Also, you will hear this here first. This is a world exclusive, everybody.
Okay.
Vermintide 2 is getting Beastmen.
Oh yeah, it's not been announced.
Not been announced. We haven't known for months. Just letting you all know. I am actually super looking forward to that. I need to start playing Vermintide 2 again because it's a fucking phenomenal game and I really like it. Yeah, I had to make a joke about our timely mention.
Okay, moving on from the video games to some of the things that we saw there. There was the Bandai action figure.
Oh,
Space
he looked
Marine.
amazing.
Yeah, he looks really cool.
He's like 7 inches tall. He looks amazing, and he would make an amazing drawing reference.
Yeah, because drawing Space Marines is
It's
quite
fucking
difficult.
hard. So like, I'm looking forward to it for that application, but also I want it on my shelf because it's cool.
The one thing that I don't know, I kind of regret not asking the
If
guy
they
who
come
was there,
painted?
is are they going to come painted or not? Because under normal circumstances, because it's Bandai, you would expect it to come painted, but given the GW thing,
Would they sell? I mean, I'm thinking maybe they'll do like, it's going to be an Ultramarine because it's always an
I
Ultramarine.
assume it's going
and
to
you
be
get
painted.
like a blank one that you can paint because I would like to paint.
I think
one.
it's safe to say that even if they do come painted, a lot of
People
them
are
are going to
strip
get
them and they're going to
Yeah.
paint them and it's going to be like,
Yeah.
hey. And I'm looking forward to seeing some gigantic conversions. I saw somebody taking the piss on the internet going, yeah, I'm going to get like 20 of these and make my own very expensive, huge kilt. It's like, Jesus. Can you fucking imagine?
There's also the little chibi
the little
ones.
chibi ones, which I honestly, they're only like an inch tall. I thought they were going to be like the same size as like Neanderoid.
Yeah.
Which I would have really liked. But no, they're only like an inch tall. They're so tiny. I was like, oh.
No, they're one of those things where I'd like
my
to.
count says Dreadnought.
I'd like to pick those up, provided that the price isn't too bad. Because those things, sometimes they're fine, sometimes they're really absurdly overpriced.
Yeah.
Of those.
The little like vinyl figures, basically.
Yeah, so the price is really, for me, what's going to be the thing. Because the actual designs are great.
But I am super stoked for the action figure. That looks amazing. Very cool to see it up close.
What else? Oh, so of course there's a big thing with contrast paint.
Contrast paint, a bunch of people were being dicks and stealing them because
Yeah.
like second floor they had like a big painting kind of area where everything in there was painted using these paints.
I think there was a few things that weren't, but nearly everything.
Nearly everything was, and they had like a bunch of just, hey, come sit down, have a paint. So there were like a bunch of people who were stealing them, which is like, if you take them home and paint, I mean, it's still not good. But it's less... Well, it's not anywhere near as dickish as stealing them and then immediately putting them on eBay and price
which a lot of people
gouging
have
like
been
a
doing.
piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's just like, look, fuck you. I mean, again, it's like, I'd still be like, if somebody just nicked a pot to take home. But absolutely fuck you so hard if you go and you put it on eBay for like 40
If
quid.
you're just doing it to just gouge
Just
price.
fuck you.
Because
That's
they're going to come
horrible.
out soon anyway. So
I was
Yeah.
going to say they must be out soon. They look ready.
But yeah, because I know some people have seen obviously things of it and they're not 100% sure how it works.
It's like a really heavy wash that just settles into like crevices and looks darker, and so if you just can't be bothered with painting a lot of your army or whatever, you undercoat, say like, let's have some Imperial fists and we'll spray paint, undercoat them white, and then douse them in yellow contrast paint. It's basically done.
Yeah, because it's basically it works the same way as when people would do it, where they just base coat something white and just use washes to paint the thing. But you can do it in one coat because the pigment is a lot more vibrant and it's a lot thicker.
Thick coat. They were giving out badges with one thick coat on it.
So it looks pretty good, honestly.
I am looking forward to having a play with it.
Yeah, I'll give them a shot, especially like if you have a lot of models to do and
Hi.
you want and you're kind of happy with the kind of look it gives, because it does give a very particular look. So if that's not what you're looking for, like my Blood Angel's success is a silver, and so just straight up I couldn't use it because there's no metallics. So there's certain things it doesn't work for. But if it will work for you, and especially for like say things like Tyranids and Poxwalkers, things that are natural looking, Squigs work quite well in it as well. Like you could paint all those really quickly using this. So that's good, because I'm basically all behind anything that removes any degree of gatekeeping behind painting.
Yeah, no, so it's like...
And anything that gets, stuff just painted easier for people.
Yeah, exactly,
because
there'll be a lot of people who aren't really interested in the painting part of it, but just really love, say, like, playing. So it's like, yeah, just literally undercoat and dunk and contrast. It's fine.
Yeah, gives a really good kind of easy way to do it. So I'll be intrigued to see how much it costs when it comes out. See
It's
if
probably
more
going to be
expensive.
costing the same as technical paint.
Yeah, probably.
So it's like good few quid.
But yeah, so it's looks cool. I'll be interested to get some hands-on kind of play with it, because it was too full for us to really sit down and play with it. And
sit down and nick things and put them on fucking eBay like a bunch of pricks.
Speaking of the painting, we also got to see all the Golden Demon entrants.
There were so many amazing fucking entrants. Like, there was a lady, Louise Sugden, who was also there doing, like, on her massive Cintiq, just doing awesome night art and Titan art, who she painted like a vaporwave
squat. Yeah, painted the Necromunda squat.
Yeah, with like a little pink flamingo on it, and I fucking fell in love with that.
Yeah, there was
so many amazing pieces.
You had a nice chat with her, actually. She was really nice.
Yeah, she was lovely.
But yeah, seeing the Golden Demon stuff up close, you really do realise how good that stuff is. Like, crazy talented the people entering are.
Like,
there was a knight that had like intricate artwork painted all over it. Like,
it was
had
like roses, like woven roses and stuff. And it was just like, fuck you, dude.
It was really nice.
There was one of the beast as well, it was like a big thing. There was like tearing in half a space marine. There was like resin water that a marine was like half kind of reaching out.
Yeah.
And the painting on that was phenomenal, because it was just like strokes.
Yeah.
It looked like a fucking oil painting. It was like, what?
That was the other thing. There were so many different techniques people were using for different things. And yeah, it was just really fascinating to see this stuff up close, because
like, you think it's photographed or it's good lighting, or no, it is just that fucking good. It's impossibly good.
Yeah, but by the same token, also, as well as realizing how good it really is, in some ways, seeing them up close also makes you feel a little bit better, because you can kind of see it, and you can see a bit more of how it's done. So it makes them look really good, but also humanizes it a little bit, of going, okay, actually it makes it feel a smidge more achievable, whilst also showing off how phenomenally talented these people are.
Exactly.
I say it's weird, like, to me anyway. That's how I felt. It managed to feel like to both make them look better, but also make that feel more attainable.
Yeah.
Even though it's really crazy, ridiculously good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I liked seeing the artists at work as well.
Yeah.
Because there was a bunch of digital artists just getting their stuff done.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember we were looking at that screen, and it was like, that just looks like it's like a 3D model.
Yeah, it was a what was it?
It was on like a Titan.
Titan, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and it was.
And yeah, it just looked like it was like a screenshot of like a 3D model. And I was like, no, he's just been sat there drawing that.
It's like, that's mind blowing. Like, what?
And then we said, how long does it take to do all those? And she was like, oh yeah, I'll do one of those every day.
No, she was like, I do like 2 to 3 a day, and it's like, fucking what?
Like, what?
How?
Oh, she will say it's because like when she's got like the template down, so it's really just about like creating the believable colour scheme.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but even still, then, it's like that is fucking old masters level of like perfection. Like, how? Wow, the dedication and hard work that goes on there, and like is astounding.
But yeah, speaking of of that area of the convention, that was where the new models were. That I basically saw nothing of, because I had to run off and go do something, but you guys actually saw. So I was just going to go through some of the new models that I ended up seeing online later, and ask, how they looked in sort of real life, and anything else that you saw that obviously I'm not going to mention here, to tell me, what you thought of it.
Cool.
So, first up, we've got some new Horus Heresy models for both the Dark Angels and the White Scars.
Really like that. Really like that. The White Scars is just like, wow, okay. Thought you guys have forgotten about them. But
I really like the black Terminators that they've released with like the long kind of
cool.
knives on a stick. I'm not sure what kind of like spear or pike or whatever particular.
Yeah,
the
on a
long
stick.
knives on a stick.
I know they'll have a particular
Yeah,
name.
they're power knives on a stick.
Okay, good.
There you go.
But no, those look really good. They're like based on
they're
I think
cool.
it's Tartarus pattern armor. But those look really cool. There's also a bunch of new knights come out as well.
Yep. There's that Chaos one.
Oh yeah, well there's the new Chaos Heretic knight kit. Looks fucking
so
great.
good. It's got like its legs are like bent like an animal's, and it's like, I need that. I need that right now. That is so fucking
it like
amazing.
accentuates the gait of the existing knights.
It makes them a little more hunched and animalistic, and I'm like, that is such such a small like tweak to the design.
Yeah.
It's like, so good. I want one.
To the point that I kind
Couldn't
of
feel
want
one,
to,
but I want
want to get one and dechaosify it and make it into a loyalist one that just has that design.
I just want the leggies.
Yeah. They also released a bunch of like new Mechanicum and by extension Dark Mechanicum.
Yep.
Ones like a bunch of new little armigers and things with a new design that they look really, really nice.
I do prefer them because they look a lot chunkier than the old ones.
I mean, I like armigers anyway, but
Well, I mean, I like the old armatures are fine, but I like the new ones because they look a bit more bulky.
yeah, I get that. Which I think they released some new knights and things, and
Well, time to go get me some knights.
for the Deptus Titanicus game, which is always interesting. I now have a warlord to paint, so that's fun. Thank you, Longfang. I actually went out on eBay. I got myself a couple of old school epic knights. They cost like £2 because they're the size of like an old space marine.
And they're so cute.
So I'll be painting those up. They actually kind of remind me a bit of Necron Immortals, like the old school Necron Immortals.
Oh yeah.
They look a little similar to those, like second ed era ones. So I'll be painting those up at some point when they arrive. I actually ordered those at the Wheatus gig. Yeah, that's how hip I am. Sitting there.
Best evening ever.
Yeah.
It's like when the paramedics came yesterday. They were like, "Oh, what's all this?" And we were like, it's like tabletop wargaming." And they were like, oh, "Okay." It's like, "Yeah, we've got it everywhere." And like he sits on the couch and he looks around and he goes, you really have them everywhere. Oh my god, they're everywhere."
You're fine, by the way.
Huh?
You're fine.
Oh yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, what?
You can't just say that and then just not explain.
Sorry, I didn't, in my brain, it hadn't registered that I hadn't said anything about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and I had the paramedics called yesterday because I actually kind of went partially blind for a bit.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's fine.
Oh, shit.
It's, honestly, they, like, by the time they got there, I regained my vision, and they'd give me basically a full quick test, like blood sugar, heart rate, blood pressure, all that. Like, they were checking me to see if I had a stroke, and I hadn't. And they were like, we can't find anything wrong with you, but there's obviously something very wrong. So, yeah, are you okay to, like, not go to hospital, or do you want to... And I was like, I'm fine. When can I play video games again? And they were like, okay, but go to the doctor at least. I'm like, yeah, okay.
And basically, if this happens again, go to the fucking hospital.
Yeah. So I'm fine. I just need to go to, the GP. I mean, like, I have this every, like, couple of years or so where I just get so stressed that my body basically mimics stroke symptoms. So...
Yeah.
It's fine, though. Yeah, no, I guess I'm being a bit blasé about this.
A little bit.
I'd rather that than worry people. Don't worry, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It was funny to see the paramedics be like, dang.
What the Jeff is all this nonsense?
This shit is everywhere. And I was like, right? Isn't it cool?
Especially because it's especially bad right now because we haven't found homes for all the stuff from Warhammer
Yeah, so we've
Fest,
got just shit all over the place.
But anyway, moving on. Also, a new Repulsor variant was put out, which has got a new big gun on it.
The big gun.
I actually want to find the name of that thing. There we go. Repulsor Executioner.
It's a good name.
Which has got a big, an even bigger ass gun on it because the Repulsor's kind of just covered in guns anyway.
Ass gun.
Yes, the ass gun. So that's kind of a fun thing.
I think it's cool, but it does bug me that it's hovering.
Why?
Because it's silly.
But that's what repulsors do.
Yeah, that's
And they're
great.
so heavy that their hover tank doesn't, or their hover things don't really work super
Yeah,
great.
it's not even that. The problem I have is the fact that it has like a really tiny base and it's like a millimeter off the ground. It's like, it's hovering, see, that technically counts. Is it like in the 41st millennium, is it like, oh, if it's a hovercraft, you pay less road tax on it?
So if it's slightly touching the
if it's
ground.
slightly touching the ground, then you have to pay like full tax.
Yeah,
But,
that's
like,
it.
That's my headcanon, and it's if you disagree with it, you're a fake fan.
Speaking of which, they also showed off a hovercraft.
Yeah,
Fuck
we don't like that
hovercraft.
kind of tank. We've got another.
The
If you
Scorpion,
didn't like this, you won't believe how much you hate this thing.
the Scorpius Dune Rider / Disintegrator. And it's fucking great.
Okay, I will be honest, it is kind of cool.
It's
I saw this in person, and I didn't know it was a hovercraft.
Hovercrafts are kind of inherently cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're okay.
Somehow.
Hovercrafts are
Because
great.
they're like amazingly 70s and I don't know, like, yeah.
They're like this amazing piece of technology that we basically don't use.
Don't ever use, yeah.
Because it's kind of actually a bit shit.
I don't know.
Just worse than just being a boat or being a car.
Well,
But-
I mean, they're
Why
less...
are you got to be so elitist
They're
about
still
hovercrafts?
used. The Russian and Chinese military have, and I think the American military have, like, some giant fucking amazing ones.
I think Drama that's not going to change his mind. He still thinks they're a bit naff.
No, I love them. I think they're amazing, but I kind of love them because they are kind of shit.
See, that's how I got Wib to marry me. I pretended to be a hovercraft. I was like, and he was like, oh, I got to put a ring on that. Oof.
You dressed up like the one that used to go between Portsmouth and the Isle of Wight.
Yeah, and then I would just literally like tie a rope to one end, get a bunch of people to sit on my back, and just dragged myself
No,
across
you
the
took
ocean.
them inside you, because that was how that one worked.
I did not vor people, Matt. I did not vor people.
No, you were just wearing a
across-
really big coat and you'd wrap it around them.
Oh, so I was like doing a mother hen thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, okay, that's
Anyway, this
significantly less creepy.
This hovercraft is really cool.
It's alright.
What I like about it especially is there's something about it that really screams Rogue Trader to me.
Not literally, because that would be terrifying.
I might make one with a speaker in it that screams Rogue Trader literally. But there's something about
See if
it.
Brian Blessed's on cameos.
Get David Hayter to do it.
You see, you just reminded me that I could literally pay 60 quid and get David Hayter and Snake's voice to just go, Snipe, I'm proud of you. You're
could,
doing
yes.
good. And then I just listen to that and just cry.
But yeah, there's something about it that really reminds me of that sort of anything goes sort of era of 40k. And I kind of feel like if you were making like a Rogue Trader era force, then including that in it somehow would be really fitting. And
Yeah, it is pretty Rogue
I
Trader.
don't know, there's something about it. It just really feels
You
like
see,
that to
I
me.
feel that maybe you're just building up to just getting that out of the blue because you're basically slowly amassing a Rogue Trader force.
I will be very happy when I can legally, in a 40k game proper, field an army that consists of nothing but Rogue Trader models. Would you like to know how far away I am from that? I could technically field a Vanguard detachment
Oh, dang, okay.
um,
It's closer than we think.
if I get one more Elite's Choice. And
Only
then
one?
I could field an army that consists of nothing but Rogue Trader models. It wouldn't be a big one, it'd just be a Dreadnought, a squad of Stern Guard, and
That's still big enough and
a
pretty
chaplain
impressive.
and a lieutenant.
Yeah.
That'd be it. But I need one more Elite's Choice.
Better pop on eBay and get yourself an Elite Choice.
If I can find another Dreadnought, then I'll be able to do it.
That's my problem. I need more dreadnoughts.
If I could find another
You
Rogue...
always need one more dreadnought.
I need at least 2 dreadnoughts.
You have so many Dreadnoughts at this point that once
I
they are
can't
built...
field them all legally at once.
You will have to field a second detachment in order to legally use them all in one army.
I've got a Land Raider for that. I'll just do that.
Well, you need what you
I'll
need.
chuck in like a tech marine.
What you need is another HQ choice.
Tech marines can be HQ choices.
I don't. Can they? Can an Iron
think
Priest in Space Wars they an HQ choice? I don't know. I've literally never used.
I've never used one.
Yeah, I've never used the Tech Marine.
No, I mean I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm probably just going to do that. It's like, why are you here? We're literally only here so the boss is allowed to have more dreadnoughts.
You could literally just throw a lieutenant who just has to run across the field amidst all the dreadnoughts.
I might just, you know what, that human Lucre, like the non-dreadnought Lucre I keep talking about, I'll just have him. Even he'll be like, this is really weird. Like, there's the venerable, like, fucking sarcophagus I'm supposed to be entombed in a few years. That's weird.
But yeah.
Or I'll have, like, one of his mates or something.
But yeah, so I'm quite close to being able to...
I do have an Ulrich.
Yeah, you could run him.
I'll just run Ulrich.
Although I don't know how good he'll be on his
Suicidal
own.
Ulrich. Hanging, he's like, well, he can heal dreadnoughts emotionally.
Okay.
He's not a tech priest, but it doesn't matter, because he'll just go up and he'll smack his bird on a stick and it'll be like, it's good as new. This baby? Smacks, like, lid of sarcophagus. Can fit so many non-heresies in them.
Yep, that's how it works.
Yeah, and then they feel better because they're like, oh, Daddy Ulrich said I wasn't a heresy. That makes me happy. And they go on stampy rampages.
But anyway, last model thing to talk about, or at least I was going to bring up from the list of things.
I just want to talk about dreadnoughts now. You can fuck off.
I'm going to keep
want to hear
talking.
stories about their stampy rampages.
Stampy rampages! Boo, 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 boo.
This podcast is long enough, let's move on. We also got to see a painted sister, and by we, I mean I did because I saw it online.
Yeah, Drama and I saw the unpainted sister.
Yeah.
And her sprue and a seraphim, which were absolutely awesome, and I loved how they showed you just the sprue for it as well.
No, that's neat. You get a bit more of a hands-on sort of.
God, it looks so good. I'm really.
When are they finally coming out?
This year sometime, I think.
I've heard at the end of this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're still being.
Just because it's like I've never seen a release that's been so like protracted.
Yeah, it's like decades in the making, eh?
Well,
I mean, even aside from that, like they started saying they were going to do it like last year or whatever.
They said last year that it would be out for May or June this year, and then they're like, oh no, just this year sometime. So hopefully it'll be done for around Christmas. So then I'll know what I want for Christmas every time somebody asks. And instead of saying I want better lock picking tools. That's a thing that with Drummer Matt have I been doing.
You have been learning to pick locks.
No, we just can pick locks. Well. We went out in the middle of the night to go and buy locks from the local supermarket so we could come home and pick them.
And then we did, and then we're like, well, now these locks are useless.
We did it in like 2 minutes. It was like, oh, okay, that's it.
You have discovered that the concept of security is all a lie.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Completely coincidentally, us both doing it at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, I bought some lockpicks, and then you were like, are those lockpicks? I've been watching billions of hours of this one guy who picks locks online. Can I try? And then you picked your first lock, and I was super proud.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's as easy as it looks.
Like, oh.
As easy as it locks.
Hey.
Yeah, that was okay. But yeah, really looking forward to that. Like to those coming out because the new sisters look so cool.
Oh, yeah. Are there any other models that either of you want to talk about that you saw? Or
well, I wanted to talk about the Chaos Knight, but I've already kind of gushed about that.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I don't think so.
Any for you, Max? I know you were looking at the Blood Bowl like halflings and stuff.
Oh yeah, they're Blood Bowl
Usually
halflings are adorable. They've all got little bellies and they're just adorable. As halflings are in basically all settings.
But yeah, so has anyone got any final thoughts about Warhammer Fest?
I paid £4 for a large slush puppy. That was gougy as fuck, and I'm very angry.
Yeah, but you got a slush puppy, so
yeah, it was £3.50 for a small.
Oof.
And like the women behind the counter looked like they wanted me fucking dead when they passed me this really small thing. I was like, oh, that's like £7 because I got 2, and I was like. Because she'd filled it half one up. And I was like, actually, could you make those largest, please? And she looks at me like... She looks back, she goes, could you make that a large, please? And the woman goes, excuse me? And I'm just sitting there going...
Hey, you're charging that much?
You're charging that much, yeah, sorry, fuck off. They because they deliberately didn't put their prices up for that stuff.
Oh.
So it was just like, okay, no.
But slush puppies aside, I will say I really enjoyed it, and
I-
all things willing, I'd like to go back next year and go back for both days.
Yes, absolutely. It was awesome, and it was like, it wasn't just awesome seeing all the amazing cosplay and being surrounded by awesome 40k stuff, but it was awesome hanging out with everybody and just chatting the day away and just having a lot of fun in this big fucking group that we'd amassed.
Yeah.
Everyone was so lovely and so much fun to hang out with. It was just so good.
Yeah.
Such an amazing day. So it's worth going again just to hang out with people.
Honestly,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was great.
Yeah, everyone was amazing.
Everyone was
and
so
not just the
lovely.
people we hung out with, like everyone was just in such like a good mood and was all friendly.
Oh,
and...
it was such a wonderful kind of
Which is
atmosphere.
completely bizarre when the fundamental point of the day is that you pay money to enter a big shop to spend more money. Like when you break it down to like completely fundamental, like it shouldn't have been, you know, something to be excited about, but it was just such a nice day and everyone was so nice.
Everyone was just so happy and
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
oh, it was wonderful. It was really lovely.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely want to go back next year for both days. Drama Butt, come with us.
Yeah,
Okay,
probably.
good. yeah,
Yeah,
probably. But yeah, Drama Butt was like, come with us, please. We like hanging out with you. We like you being the voice that people recognise and then immediately go, fucking hell, it's that guy.
Then being disappointed that I'm not actually as slimy as initially suspected.
Although there were a lot of like couch jokes and clutch jokes and mayonnaise jokes. It was pretty good. Also, I still have a photo of you kind of like tongue kissing one of the big posters on my
He was a
phone.
pretty boy.
He was
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
pretty. Because I remember like coming out of the till, they kind of like pushed you around like behind the tills, and they had like a bunch of like big posters hanging up to separate the cashiers from you, drummer Matt specifically. And there was just like
Big
a
road.
bunch of pretty iOS boys there, and drummer was like, "Oh," I was like, "Take my photo with it," and then drummer Matt was like, "I want a photo with him." And so you kind of put your hand and rested your head on him, and then I was like, "Yeah, that's good." And then he just started like tongue out, and I'm like, "That's good too." This drummer Matt's having a good time. He's found a flat boyfriend. That's good. That's good. It was a great time. I want to go again.
Yep.
But yeah, so anyone else got anything else to say about it?
Want sisters now.
Matt?
Yeah.
Just yep. That's all you're going to say? Okay, good.
Yep.
Good, okay.
Wib. What about you?
Shout it in my ear, Jesus.
I mean, I'm gonna.
I've said everything, so I believe it is now time for us to move on
Questiones.
to the questions.
Yes.
So, Drummer Matthew, do we have
Yes.
questions? And also, what email address
We do.
should people send
Drummer
their
Matt.
questions to?
Hey, drummer Matt.
We have a few questions, and the email address is onlydrummermatt@snipeandweb@gmail.com.
Good, good.
Anywho, we have a bunch of questions,
Cool.
which I think we'll go through and answer relatively quickly today, I think, because we've been speaking about the Warhams for a while.
Yeah.
So, first up, Agent Sinister. They sent through a bunch of doggo and cat pictures.
Good.
Yes.
Are you going to actually remember to put these ones on Twitter?
He probably.
I did last time,
Good, good.
Okay.
and I probably will this time.
Probably.
One of them, the fun story. I haven't wrote the name here, so I can't. But I'll put it when I put it on Twitter. One of the dogs has recently sprained its tail by wagging it too hard, which is the most adorable and sad and yet sad thing I think I've ever heard.
What a sweet puppy. He's so happy. They
Because it's like he
physically
was
injured
so
their
happy.
butt.
Yeah,
Aw.
but I think they're better now because they said it was a while ago. So I hope they're better. If not, I'm wishing many dog
good
cuddles.
pets.
They also have a waifu rating.
Okay.
Okay.
Sadie Adler from Red Dead Redemption 2,
I'd not
which I
played it.
believe none of us have
None of
played.
us
Yeah.
have played it, so I'm going to give her a hot dog.
She's gonna give-
Because they didn't have hot dogs back then, and if I gave her a hot dog,
It
she'd
would
have
be
blown my
mind-blowing.
fucking mind.
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
Okay, I'm going to give her a straight 10 just on looks alone.
Yeah,
she looks
yeah.
amazing.
That I was judging purely on looks alone. It's a 9 or 10.
I love
and
that
with the
fucking
obvious caveat of that, you know, if it turns out she's like a racist or something, or you know, something awful, like I reserve the right to reduce the score.
As do I,
dramatically.
but I think that goes without saying. If like one of the characters just
Well, apparently not nowadays. So.
Well, yeah. But yeah, like, just looking at it's like a badass cowboy lady.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
to give her
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, let's go for a 10. That's cool.
Like, you
10
know,
cows out of 10.
caveats notwithstanding.
Yeah. Okay, next up, Doidy. First question. Can this episode be a Drummer Matt appreciation episode?
No.
Yeah, it's too late for that.
Yeah. However, Drummer Matt is a lovely boy, and we love him very much.
He's appreciated.
Well, they actually wrote Drummer Butt, and it can either be appreciation of the Matt part of that or the butt part of that.
Well, we will do some butt worship on you later.
Yeah. When the next time we see you, we'll do some ass worship.
Yeah.
Okay, well that sounds horrifying. Have you guys watched Over the Garden Wall?
No.
And if so, do you like it?
No.
I
have
only
not.
know about it through seeing people on Tumblr say that it's quite good. So
Yeah, I watched the trailer, and the trailer made me want to watch the whole series.
And then you didn't.
I've heard it.
Well, I only saw it a bit 5 minutes before we started recording, so I haven't had time yet.
Okay,
I have
fine.
heard it's quite good, but I have
I'll
not
keep
seen
an
it.
eye out for it. I'll have to give it a watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on Netflix or if it's...
I think it's on YouTube.
I'll figure it out.
Oh. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, another question. Still from Doidy.
Okay.
Which Primarch do you most want the opportunity to fight?
Petarabo.
And then in brackets, not who you think you could beat.
Oh no, I could beat
but
Petarabo.
just who do you... But so it's not based on who you think you could beat or who you could survive long for. It's just who do you most want to punch.
Petarabo. Fuck that guy. I hate him so much.
He is innately punchable.
He's such a little fucking shit. Oh, I could fucking flay that guy alive. I don't Primarch or no. I'm gonna like punch his fucking butt in.
I kind of feel like Mortarion could do with a
Kick
bit of a
his dick
smack.
clean off. I mean, yeah, but not as much as like Petarabo. But I mean, I have kind of like dibsied him. So
Yeah.
I want to punch. I want to punch fucking Petarabo's dick in.
Kurz could probably do with a good dick punching in as
I
well.
thought you were going to say good dicking. So I think that'd help as well. Drama Matt, which Primarch would you want to like beat the fuck
I
out?
don't know. It's nothing personal, but probably Gilliman, just because I want to punch all of the Ultramarines. Sorry.
Honestly,
If you punch the Master Marine, then all the other ones
I'm
get
sort of punching all of them by proxy. So.
punch him right in the gene seed.
It's nothing personal.
I will say, having read the novel No Fear, and I never got around to finishing it, but getting through some of Dark Imperium. Gilliman is these days presented way better than it
but
feels
Matt
like.
said that he like nothing personal, but he wants to punch Ultramarines.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah, he could be the
Gilliman.
nicest man in the universe.
He is a cool dude. Big Bobby G is really rad.
I mean, you're from around the same time as me, like where Ultramarines were fucking everywhere.
Yeah,
when you started
it's an
playing.
entirely historical resentment I have.
Yeah.
What is historical resentment?
It was when they were bright blue and yellow as well. So like they had the bright red guns as well. So they were like this
Yeah.
This
vibrant,
primary assault on your senses.
So I understand that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, last question from Doidy. The recent Mechanicum game notwithstanding, why do you think so few GW stories / games involve Necrons?
Because it's hard to kind of go from like, okay, so Necrons, they want to go and do the war, but why?
Well, I mean, if you're dealing with old school Necrons, it's because there's literally no personality to write from. If you're going with new school ones, it's because only their higher ups have personality.
Mm-hmm.
And largely, it's for the same reason that there isn't that many books that deal with anything that isn't human. It's because it's harder to write from the perspective of something that is innately alien. Because getting people, like, managing to make them not feel too human is quite difficult.
I'd say there's probably like a big kind of, well, if we appeal to what most people seem to play anyway,
Yeah.
well, like appealing to demographics, I guess.
Yeah, it's that's
But the
it as
majority
well.
of players have like Space Marine armies, so let's just go for Space Marines or Imperium forces, because that's just a sure bet.
Yeah.
They don't want to do anything that's slightly a little bit weirder.
Yeah, I mean, it's not to say that the authors that they've got don't have the skills to do
Oh,
it, but just that
absolutely.
it is just harder to do. And, of course, that from a marketing perspective, more people are more likely to read a book that's got a Space Marine on the cover than a Necron on the cover. As much as people think, no, I want to read about Necrons, when you're talking about the wider like reader base of the people that they have to make sure they sell to. So it's
this horribly boring answer, I think.
Yeah, I think it is both one of logistics and
corporate
and ease of actual like creation. Yeah. I think that's the real reason. I mean, I don't mind actually because I kind of like. I mean, I'm kind of a fan of old school Necrons anyway because I kind of like the idea of them being this unknowable force, which now they sort of aren't that. They're a bit more. They're just another faction. Granted, there is one particular one that a dynasty that was. I always forget. Is it dynasty or dynasty? We're supposed to say here.
Dynasty.
Yeah. Because I've heard so many people say both over the years.
Dynasty is more of an American pronunciation.
Yeah. Usually
in the UK, you're supposed to pronounce it dynasty.
Yeah. It's usually in relation to the show. So I've heard, some people use the American pronunciation even while they're English.
What? Look, don't call it dynasty. Just call it like dynasty. Because that's way more interesting.
They're old. There's a particular dynasty that was put out. That is basically. Nearly all of them have got the what's it called, the
Allspark.
The thing that the flayed ones, is it the Flayer virus? They're all like
the Sassaworm.
They're all infected with it. So
Y2K.
What are you talking about?
They've got viruses. They've got the Y2K virus. That's the bad thing. It sent them nuts.
But they all have the Flayer virus, so they're all fucking nuts and are basically hell-bent on just destruction. So they kind of are almost these mindless killing machines that old Necrons were.
I still think flayed ones are a bit silly.
They are a bit silly, yes.
Yeah. But I mean, like, hey, that's just my opinion.
So yeah, I kind of like that old school Necron vibe. But yeah, that does, you really can't write a novel from that perspective. That and they're relatively sort of newcomers to the setting, so they can't exactly be in like the Horus Heresy stuff because they just weren't around at that point. I mean, you could write I mean, what would be interesting is if they wrote like say like a short story. Maybe they already have, but based around when they were still the Necron tier, when they were mortal, and talk about the their war with the old ones and stuff. That could be interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Good answer. More comprehensive than I was expecting. Yeah. Okay, Dylan, they have a question for each of us. Okay, Wib, your question first.
Okay.
I wish to change the head of a power maul to be the head of a power hammer. Any tips you can offer?
Chop the tip of a hammer.
Chop it off on a bit that has something separating it. So say like where the handle ends or where the hammerhead starts, and then drill, if it's thick enough, drill into the shaft and into the head. And then use a little snip of a paper clip to pin it in place. That's my kind of suggestion for the easiest way to do, provided you've obviously got the pieces.
I don't know enough about the subject to disagree, but sure.
Yeah, that's how I do it anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, just pick places to cut. Try and find places that there's already some kind of segmentation. So either like where a handle begins, or where like there's like a ridge that goes around it.
Basically,
and cut on that ridge.
Find a join that already exists and put it there so it looks more natural.
Yeah, because then you're not trying to make a clean join between two areas that are supposed to blend into each other. Because obviously you've got to do green stuff and to make that work, regardless. Whereas you can often get away without green stuffing it if you're clean enough with your cut.
Yep. Okay. Snipe. Do you have a favourite Space Wolf novel?
No.
Okay.
I haven't gotten to reading them, honestly.
Yeah, fair. Okay, I'll change the question slightly then. What's your favourite Space Wolf story told in any form?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't know. I really like the one about Arjak Rockfist. I think that's really cool. About how he was recruited. How he's just this gigantic blacksmith in the fucking mountains, just being a total badass. I think that's pretty cool.
It probably says a lot, like when it comes to like Space Wolf novels, I've read a lot more Black Library, yet I've only read 2 books on Space Wolves.
Yeah.
And they're one of my favourite factions, so.
Yeah.
Fair. Alright, my question. You two get relatively straightforward questions.
Yours is like...
Mine is, what is your favourite song?
Oh.
Oh,
I was like,
what is your favourite Tao song?
no, just favourite song.
From which
My
band?
mind
From
exploded
which
a little bit.
genre?
I know,
Which
I don't want
era?
to upset. So, I had a bit of a think. I've had the time of the podcast to sort of mull it over my mind. And I think I don't want to name... I have various favourite bands who are always up there in the top... if I have to name my top 5, top 10.
Yeah, Kylie Minogue.
Yeah.
Wurzels.
And I don't want to upset any of them by naming one of their songs. So, my favourite answer... No, my favourite song as an answer to this question is going to be Seagulls by the bad lip reading guys.
Okay.
Because it is the song where I tend to put it on whenever I'm deciding what album to listen to, and so I end up listening to that song quite a lot, and every time I hear it, I like it a bit more.
Okay.
And I liked it a lot to start with, so
Okay.
it's probably not like
That is such a
literally
weird
my
thing to
favourite
do.
song, but it is sort of actually genuinely one of my
Fair
favourite songs.
Do you have a favourite song?
It's so good. Have you guys heard it? It's
No,
so
I
good.
will
A long
listen
time
later.
ago.
Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, do you have a
it's amazing.
favourite song there?
A
Snipe?
favourite song?
It's a very hard question.
Oh, like from which band? Which era? Which
Yeah,
genre?
exactly. What genre? Yeah.
I could just give mine, because I just know it.
Okay.
It's A Better Place, A Better Time by Streetlight Manifesto. Boom.
I have to say my favourite song right now is a song called Spooky Like Halloween by a band called Twin Pumpkin.
Okay.
That's my favourite song right now.
Okay, cool.
Because they're basically like Femme Placebo. That's the band I was playing in the car on the way
Oh
down
yeah,
to
yeah. We
Warhammer
were
Fest.
listening to them on the drive. Yeah,
I like they're cool. They're cool.
yeah. Very placebo-y. I enjoyed them.
But yeah, so that's my favourite song right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we've got Acidus.
Oh, hello, slightly
okay.
drunk
Specifically,
Acidus.
a slightly drunk Acidus.
I'd be worried
Well, possibly
if they are
not
still
now
slightly
because I
drunk.
emailed in not this second. But
Well done, but also damn, dude, hydrate.
Well done.
Fuck me. I
But-
need to drink.
yeah. Okay, right. So, since Fuck Mario Kill isn't a thing anymore, I was thinking about what deep and insightful question I could ask the podcast
Right.
to really explore the human psyche. But the only thing that came to mind is
I mean, yeah.
you own a hair salon in the 41st millennium. One day, a space wolf comes in, sits down on the chair, and says, "Surprise
I'm
me.
gonna cover my hands
What
on
kind
my
of
face and go,
hairstyle do you give
boo.
them?"
What kind of hairstyle? Well, I mean, what hair are they starting with? They just have really long hair.
I think we'll say they it's just big long hair.
They have enough hair
It's,
that
it's
you
a pretty
can
clean
kinda
palette.
go
You can
nuts
do
with.
basically anything.
So I could either go one of two ways. Either one, I
Yeah.
could do like the really kind of like stylish like 1930s kind of man's haircut where it's like short back and sides and the top is oiled.
Okay.
I could do that, but I'd shave both the sides and I'd plait up like the mohawk really hard and I'd tie it into like a half up, half down kind of thing. And then I just I trim the beard to the shape of the face because this is a thing. Like you're supposed to trim big beards to the shape of your face because it stops your face from being lost in this big bushy hedge. So I do that. I probably put a couple of plaits either side in the beard, and then I would ask him to let me like ride on his shoulder to McDonald's and get a McFlurry. And also I'd be like, I'm such a fan of your work. Can I pet a Fenrisian puppy? That can be my payment.
Now, personally, I'd go for a beehive.
That's way better. Shit,
Yeah.
I take it back. Oh, why don't you give him like you know that chav haircut from school, where it was like short back and sides, but they had like a bowl fringe that was gelled into like strips. You give it.
Oh.
Yeah, you remember that gross ass fucking haircut?
Yeah.
You could do that
It
if
was
you
not a
wanted.
good
If you
look.
wanted to be killed by a space wolf, you
Yeah.
could get that. Yeah.
What-
Try 'em, Matt.
Yeah, what would you go for, Matt?
I don't know. I mean, I'm swaying between going back to bad school haircuts. Back when I was in like year 7, which is you and your, I don't know, how old are you then? 11 or
Year
12
seven's
for anyone
like-
who's not in the UK.
Yeah, I guess so.
10, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, you turn 12 in year 7. I don't know if that equates to 7th grade in the
I
States.
think it is
and
about the same. Yeah.
I had no idea other countries did. Anyway, whatever. Everyone had like the relatively short hair, but then like a perfectly like sticky,
where it was
outy fringe, but just
balls
the fringe.
out, right? And it was all spiky. God,
Yeah,
that was gross.
that was quite
I
good.
totally didn't
So
have
either
that
that-
when I was that age. I
God,
absolutely
really?
did.
Well, yeah. Neither
Oh
did
my
I,
god, did
neither
you
did
both
I.
have that fuckboy haircut?
Every single person, every single.
I
boy
never
had
hung
that
out with a
haircut at
boy who
point.
had that
It was-
haircut. Because they were all fucking dicks.
Yeah. So it's either that or you shave all of the top, but then like give them a really bad comb over, because comb overs are hilarious.
Why are you trying to get killed by space wolves?
Oh no, give him a
No, they
devil
love it.
lock.
Devil lock! Way better. Give them a
Yeah.
proper, like... You remember during the 80s how everyone's mum had that mullet haircut with a perm? Where they have, like, the poofy fringe?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in fact, completely genuinely, I think a space wolf could
They
pull off a mullet.
absolutely
probably
could,
could.
though, but not like an 80s
Like,
mum.
not even like, ironically or whatever. Like they could probably genuinely
Okay,
pull
right.
off a
That's it.
mullet.
Okay, we are now officially going to start up a change.org petition to have Forge World release special edition Space Wolf alternate heads that all have varying shades of mullets.
That would be
You could
amazing.
call it mullets for mongrels.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
mullets for puppets.
I think the first one was better. We'll forget the second one.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You
Yeah.
know what? I'm just
Yeah.
spitballing. I'm just spitballing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and you can't I think Gladius Amacida is amazingly handsome, and also Solid Snake, and who both have catastrophic mullets.
Yes.
There's a guy at my gym that looks like Gladius from fucking Final Fantasy, whatever the fuck, 15, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just walks in, and I'm just like, the fuck are you doing here? Go back to Final Fantasy. God damn. But like, my plan is, because there's a guy who's been giving me hassle at the gym, I'm going to befriend Gladios, and we're going to go and just kick his balls in.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great. I don't know how to get to that point. I don't know how to befriend Gladio.
You could alternatively just wear really big shoes to kick his balls right in.
I could do, but I feel that I want to be friends with Gladio to do it, because he's a big, strong man who the other guy who's been giving me trouble... Like, the problem with the big guy who's been giving me trouble is that he doesn't respect me because I'm a woman. So
Yeah.
he would respect Gladio, and I'd just be like, very awkwardly leaning up on his shoulder, because he's way taller than me, and I'd be like, yeah, this is my buddy. He's from Final Fantasy, and we're going to kick your fucking dick in,
He's
mate.
going to turn around and say, I've told you like 14 times, my name is Clive and I come from Ashbourne.
It's like, his name is Noctis, and he comes from Ashbourne. So yeah, I don't know quite how to get from A to B, but you know what? It's a plan I'm working on. So it's cool.
Yeah, just
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, let's just...
Keep
I know,
developing
I'm
it. Keep
gonna
evolving
keep you
the
updated.
ideas.
I'm
Work
gonna
on
keep
it,
you
work
updated.
on
It's
it,
gonna
yeah.
be great. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Good. All right.
Okay.
Very last question. Roxanne, can I please hear the tale of the time Drummer Matt made friends with a crust punk?
That's I remember that story very well. See, Drummer Matt and I were going to a cross punk gig. They were called the Crusty Punkers. Not the cleverest name.
You know, I'm
No, but I mean,
I'm
it gets
really
the
glad
point.
that you're the one recounting this story, considering that I'm the one who actually does listen to some cross-punk bands.
Yeah, but the thing, I don't know why Drummer Matt didn't invite you.
Yeah, I know, it was weird.
It was weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, he spent like 4 hours getting ready because he wanted to wear his Wurzels cosplay.
Yeah.
Because like he just got confused with the Wurzels being cross punk. He just thought that they were cross punk. So
Yeah.
so we finally get out the door. We get all the way there, and there's a guy at like taking tickets who's got a purple hat on.
Ah.
Jerome Matt walks up to this guy, looks him square in the eye, and goes, "I like your hat." And I was like, I think everyone released a collective breath there.
Well, yeah, because normally when he says something like that, then
He eats it.
The hat's going in his mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, he eats it. So yeah, like we went in, and I managed to get into a horrible bar fight with Drummer Matt, just kind of sitting in the corner eating fairy floss, and watching me glass people, and then he had to basically take me back and tell me off for being naughty, and it was a really nice time actually.
And so, what did he make friends with the doorman?
Oh no, he ate that man's shoes.
Oh, okay. So, which cross-punk did he make friends with?
Me.
Oh.
He decided that I was a cross punk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I still didn't get it either.
No. Okay.
It's been a long podcast. It's got to be a relatively short memory. But yes, thank you, and please continue to send in things to remind me about things that happened when I was out with Drummer Matt. But yeah, it was kind of weird because the guy was still wearing his shoes when Drummer Matt ate. He only ate the soles of the shoes.
Well, I do like fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they, to be fair, it was a nice place.
So.
I'm reminded of that fish and chip shop that's in the centre of Derby called Tasty Place, and it's spelt like a fish.
Yeah, but there's also like a bunch of like lights that are busted, so it's called Tasty Pla.
Well, yes, it is currently called Tasty Plat, but...
Tasty Pla. I saw that pun and I was like, God damn it, that's terrible. God damn it, that's terrible. They're fish!
I heard. I heard.
No,
You're skating on thin ice.
You could say I'm being a real ice hole.
Anyway, thank you for listening to the podcast. As ever, we are sorry. And we hope that in time you will learn to forgive us. And since Snipe is just giggling to herself, I will say goodbye from me and say goodbye, Snipe.
Bye.
And say goodbye, Drummer Matt.
Bye.
Good day, everybody.
It's been Brill.